Hello, everyone. So, we're switching it up a little bit. You can actually see both of us now.
I know, right? It's a miracle.
Well, folks, it has been a long and crazy road, but here we are, the 2-year anniversary of Micah and Hatman. So let's go ahead and get it started. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
Welcome to Micah and the Hatman Live. All right. It's hard to believe it's been as long as it has.
Yeah, I know, right? For those of you who are saying, "Oh, Hatman is revealed at last," there were earlier episodes where you actually could see my face, and I think I was sitting here in some of them. The issue was the internet is terrible. My internet is terrible, naturally, but I'm giving it a shot this time because it's the anniversary show, so what the hell.
Now, for some reason, Hatman, you're a little out of sync between video and audio, so I don't know what the heck's going on there, but...
Ah, well. Wonder if it's because I'm trying to watch the YouTube video, too, but, oh well, I'll just have to cut that out and pop out the chat.
See, now it's back in sync, so I think it's just a...
Yeah, see what I mean? Internet sucks. Yeah. Fuck you, Spectrum.
Yeah, I can I can sympathize with shit internet.
Yeah. When will you get better internet? I don't know. Whenever I decide to pay for AT&T fiber or something, or when I move to Raleigh and get Google fiber, but I now have hesitations about giving Google my money, so
it's a giant mess.
Yeah. Hatman is clearly dubbed over subbed.
All right, so it's hard. I can't even remember how this whole thing between us started. I mean,
Gamergate.
Yeah, well,
the Kotaku and the very first Kotaku in Action live stream is where we first talked. And that was, funnily enough, about 4 years ago next week. So, is it somewhat poetic that Micah and the Hatman started almost on the 2-year anniversary of when we first met?
It's crazy. I didn't even realize that it was that, that exact date.
Yeah.
See, I can't even remember exactly how the whole process started. I just remember I started just doing videos randomly, and then it's like, oh, I've got 1,000 subscribers. Fuck it, I've always wanted to do a podcast, and then bada boom. And it's been interesting since then. Like, I never really thought that we would meet some of the people that we've met over these last couple of years, that we would kind of get embroiled in some of the things we've been embroiled in. Like, especially this whole stuff with comic books. Like, when I did that video about SJWs taking over comic books, I had no intention of talking about those books on a regular basis. Like, I was just sitting back and I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ, why am I not surprised that SJWs have taken over comic books, or they're at least attempting to, as they tried with video games. The difference being is that with video games, they tried from the outside in, and it didn't work. Mm-hmm. And now comic book creators have just turned on people, and it continues to get worse.
Yeah.
And the narratives are almost exactly the same, too. So...
Yeah, well, it's just a common narrative in general. I mean, if you want attention, claim you're being harassed. You get sympathy, you get attention, and suddenly people don't have anything negative to say about you because they don't want to be lumped in with the harassers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pattern. It's nonsense.
Yep, they're starting to build the walls up too. I mean, you saw what Jeff Lemire put out there, and then Mark Guggenheim.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, when your comics stop selling, I'm gonna laugh at you.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and you look at Ethan Van Sciver and John Mallon and our boy Zach, like over $1 million made over the course of their Kickstarters, and John De La Rose is getting in on it too.
Oh yeah,
and all successful, not Kickstarters, GoFundMe's, whatever, campaigns to make their own things. Yeah. All successful, all raised well over $1 million combined. That's not chump change.
No.
For indie comics, especially, that's not chump change.
No, not at all. You gotta keep something in mind here, is that Cyberfrog made more than most independent comics have made in at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Same with why am I forgetting the name of the book? Jawbreakers.
Yes.
Like it's one of the goofiest things that I've seen in a long time, and yet I'm kind of happy about it, because at some point people are going to have to realize that when you declare war on people's politics, you can end up declaring war on your own fans.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they do it every fucking time. So, but let's talk about happier moments. What would you say, Hatman, is probably the craziest or goofiest thing that has happened on one of these live streams of ours?
Oh, good God. Goofiest things that have happened? I mean, having Exterminatus declared on me was certainly pretty goofy. Of all things to declare Exterminatus on, I did not expect to be the target. I did not expect to survive either.
Yeah, we really need to test the effectiveness of those missiles at some point, but not on you, just so you know.
Thank you.
But we can't. But I might have to pick something that you like, though. So we'll test them on Ewoks. Then again, those durable little bastards, it wouldn't surprise me if they survived. Be like, what the fuck? You're like cockroaches!
Well, yup nub, motherfucker.
I will say, though, as purple-haired Laura Dern is so goddamn annoying, I don't hate Ewoks nearly as much as I used to.
I'm just saying, Ewoks are so hardcore, they were about to eat R2-D2. Just putting that out there.
What? I'm guessing they eat metal or something.
Man, either that or they were like, there's got to be something delicious in this trash can.
I guess.
I don't. Ewoks are actually raccoons. I don't know.
Maybe. It's just giant walking trash pandas. Apparently Brian Gilmartin's a big fan of my Alex Jones impersonation!
Yes, that was great. Speaking of super male vitality, how is that going?
Worthless! It is absolutely worthless.
Oh man.
I haven't taken it in a couple of days and I'm not missing it. Though granted, and this is something that I have, the part of the reason that there is no Comics Crusade is I have been so depressed this fucking week. So, on Monday, we had a very intense and very fun, boxing practice, as many of you know, because we talked about it on the Overflow, and I felt good, right? Next day, I wake up, there is a searing pain in my knee. And it has not gone away since. And it's been hard to get up and down stairs. I've had to wear a knee brace for most of the week. And I am going to see the doctor here in a couple. It's starting to heal a lot faster now. But I was genuinely worried I had torn my meniscus. But it might just be a small sprain. But needless to say, I haven't been able to box this week, and I've been kind of in a bad mood. So I might do Comics Crusade live again tomorrow. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Or I might just knuckle down tonight, and just pull an all-nighter and get it done. Needless to say, though, Super Male Vitality is not very good. Most of my most of my weight loss that I've incurred this week has come from just being in ketosis. I mean, I'm at, what did I say I was at during the overflow? Was it 345? I think so.
Don't really know.
Yeah, it was 345. I'm at 343 now. So I dropped another couple pounds without exercise. And if tomorrow I don't I can't move it and I can't shadow box or anything like that, I'm just gonna start doing 10 sit-ups and I'm gonna turn over, do 10 push-ups and da-da-da-da-da.
Well, do what you gotta do.
I suppose so. Oh, by the way, as everyone probably noticed, I am in a brand new suit. This bad boy...
That's the expensive one that you got for cheap.
Yes, this is a Joseph A. Bank custom traditional fit, so it doesn't have the giant shoulders. I'm actually liking the traditional fit a little bit more. I like the Regal jacket that I have, but it kind of makes me feel like a mutant. The only thing that was weird about this is, I've ranted to Hatman behind the scenes of how you'd never catch me in a pinstripe suit. Oddly enough, this is a pinstripe, but you can barely tell. It's black on black, basically, just different shades, and I think it looks pretty good. I like the tie too. This is a Jacob Alexander, I think. Yeah, I don't remember.
The black suit and the white tie. Good.
Yep.
Good.
Though good. I could do black suit, black tie too. Yeah, it's.
I did that for I did that for my junior prom, I think. All black.
Well, black suit, black tie is basically going to be my Wilson Fisk get-up, so...
It works. Speaking of suits, what's up with mine? I expected some more casual attire from Zachary White. So, again, when I used to actually be on camera, we both wore suits for the Politics podcast. In fact, the last anniversary podcast, I wore a suit or a half suit for that show, and it's still in Micah's apartment because I left it there, because I forgot it, because I'm an idiot.
Yes.
So, yeah. And apparently this suit doesn't fit me anymore because I am a fat motherfucker. But close enough, and it's what I got, so deal with it. .jpeg.gif.
Nah. Yeah, at some point here soon, I'll probably ship that to you.
Well, I'm not really like in absolute desperate need of it, so just whatever. An automated tune-up will. How about no automated tune-ups computer? Yeah, I'm on a different computer this time, so yeah. So let's see. The biggest thing that we've covered over the last year.
I think that getting involved in Comicsgate has sort of been the biggest, I would think.
I would say so too.
We've just fallen into the middle of it. I wasn't expecting it at all, and then I ended up getting invited on this, as I considered, the stream that started it all, over on the Honey Badgers channel with Brian Martinez, which oddly enough is how I met him. So and how he and I have become buddies, and since then I've been on the Honey Badgers. We've had Aiden on. I got to talk to Ethan Van Sciver and Chuck Dixon. Man, what the crap? How does that even happen?
Yeah, we did the Comicsgate thing we covered, and then John Delarose got involved in that, but we talked to him before he was really involved.
Yep. That was the whole Worldcon debacle.
Yep, that was.
And then we talked to the Quartering the week before he dropped all that pedo shit about the Magic community.
Yep, we talked to Jeremy. That was right after he got banned. So,
yeah, that was That was insanity. That was before he got banned, actually, because he was talking about, he's like, this would be the, he's like,
oh, that's right. That was right before he got banned.
If I remember right, he told us, he's like, dude, if they ban me, my channel is going to explode, and it did.
Yeah, it did. It absolutely did. Yeah, yeah, because he said he wasn't expecting a life ban, and I was like, no, they want to send a statement. It's going to be a life ban. Sure enough, it was a life ban.
Yeah.
Yeah. That. Yeah, we've had some pretty big stuff. Favorite episode? Swordsman 100 wants to know. Oh God, that's hard. Favorite episode of, I guess, politics and entertainment.
That's
Jeez.
God, that's a really good question.
That is. I'll have to look through the channel to see them all.
Yeah, I'm genuinely curious. Let me refresh my memory real quick.
Maybe I should get a playlist instead of videos.
I do have playlists, yes.
Yep.
I come prepared. So, politics, it's a really tough one for me. Last week's was really good, but, I kind of like, we did it about a month or so ago when Kavanaugh got nominated. And then we introduced millions will die.
That was a pretty good one. Let's see.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. Brainbox was a fan, or a Hardboiled Entertainment was a fan when I exacted what the cat girl thing was. Oh God. The fucking Necopara stream. Oh, that was rough. That was a rough night. I was like, what the hell? But yeah, that episode was called SCOTUS Time. And then what were some other really good ones? I thought the Gay Cake episode was really good.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The one after... We had like a 3-week streak of... It's called... I've got it pulled up. Release the Memo. Gun control is gay, and only morons listen to teens about government. Those 3 weeks...
Yeah.
Were... Because that was post-Parkland, and that one really...
Yeah. They were... That was like hit after hit after hit.
We just knuckled down on those. Like, we were probably some of our best. And some of that, I think, was when I was in Arkansas, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, I couldn't have, I don't know if I could have been any more angry than I was. What's this on the book face? Oh, don't care. Anyway, so, Dragon Maids or Necopara, which made me suffer more? Well, that's a hard question. Because I had to play Necopara, but I was already depressed when I watched Dragon Maids. So, people want a millions will die button. I've been thinking about introducing some new ones. Millions will die being one of them. Another one that I'm thinking of doing is having a section of the podcast on one or the other every week called the Thundering Dumbass of the Week. And I would really, and what the music behind it would be me doing Twilight of the Thunder God solely with the word derp. So, I'm thinking about that one. Thought on when I discussed Alfie Evans. That might be my best monologue ever that I've ever done. That one was... That was a very hard subject to do. That was of all the discussions we've had, of all the tragedies we've had to deal with and things along those lines. Alfie Evans was one that hit very close to home for me. Mostly because, I'm an uncle. I have, 6 nieces and nephews. 6 now? Or is it 7? Might be 6. 7 if you count my best friend Josh's kid. I love kids. I really do. Kids are great. I don't want any of my own, but I still love kids. But the idea that the government would take away a parent's right or ability even to protect the life of their child is one of the most distressing things I could ever really think of. And it's a scary thought. It's a scary thought that that can happen to people. And that there are people that want that sort of thing in the United States.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's actually one thing I've wanted to get in touch with Scrump Monkey. I haven't had the time that I wanted to talk with Sargon about, because he's gone on and said that he wants to continue universal health care for Britain, and I want to debate that point with him. And that's the Alfie Evans situation is the reason for it. Because I genuinely wonder, because it happened in his nation, I genuinely wonder how you can support such a measure when the effects of it are so horrifying.
Yeah.
So.
We have a little bit of breaking news, actually.
Oh?
John McCain has passed away.
Oh, man. It was just yesterday, I think, that he said he was going to discontinue his treatments.
I think so, yesterday or day before.
That's a controversial man right there.
Certainly.
So, John McCain, as a senator, I don't have high opinions of him as a politician. But...
especially not in his later years.
No. I think that there were a lot of problems within conservatism, especially after the Tea Party. And there were a lot of old guns, basically, who would not let go of the old, basically kind of their heyday of the Bush era. You know, the neoconservatives. And McCain was one of them. So I disagreed with him on policy, but as a man, I have a ton of respect for him. Ton of respect. You think of what he went through for his country. The torture he endured left permanent damage on him. And if nothing else, he at least sets the example. Because I don't he never once said, like, let's compare and contrast him to John Kerry for a second. He never once ever spoke poorly about his service in the military.
No.
Not to mention, to my recollection, I can't recall him ever speaking poorly about anyone in the service. I do remember him disagreeing on enhanced interrogation techniques for obvious reasons.
Naturally,
but
yeah.
I think that its personal bias really makes it so that I can't really, listen to his, support his opinion on that. So I don't agree with him at all.
I think it kind of says something, though, that at least the media shift on just how he was reported on. Like, you think back to 2008 when he was running against Obama. I mean, they played that Bomb Iran clip over and over again. I mean, they practically called him a white supremacist.
Oh, yeah.
Made fun of the whole Maverick comment. And now, all of a sudden, like, he's a war hero in everyone's eyes. He's a distinguished statesman.
As long as he's opposing Donald Trump. Yeah,
as long as he did that. And voted for, Obamacare to stay in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, only reason the media liked him is because he hated Trump. I mean, that's the reason why we're seeing some people turn around on George W. Bush, who got God, I don't think it was 8 full years of it. I think it was like 6. So it was after 9/11 when he got a ton of shit. But still, he had years of it.
Yeah. But the thing about him is that he got to live a long life. Got to have a daughter that's quite awesome from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And had a good family. And at the end of the day, that is the kind of life that every man desires. So, you can disagree with this politics. You can not agree with them at all. I certainly don't. But, if nothing else, I wish him Godspeed.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that. Because I noticed some people in the chat are starting to get kind of heated. It's not...
Yeah. I'd rather not... And I know... But I would rather not, speak ill of the dead right at this second.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about, his lasting impact and stuff at a later time, but right now it's just I don't think it's particularly appropriate.
Yeah, let's not pretend this guy was Adolf Hitler or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Might not have been the best dude, but that's
we could spend the next 2.5 hours naming worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move along, or at least move back to favorite shows of the year. For the Micah and the Hatman podcast, I think the Mark Wade is a prick episode was particularly good.
Oh yes, that was the biggest one we've ever had.
Yeah, that one was great. Just from beginning to end, that was wonderful. I really enjoyed doing that one.
Yeah, that one was that was right after the start of the Jawbreakers controversy, right?
Yeah. It was I think the same day that that Mark Waid, or maybe it was like the day after, that Mark Waid had called Antarctic Press and got them to pull production of Jawbreakers.
Yeah.
It was like right near it. So
I really enjoyed our review of Infinity War as well.
Yes, that was great. That was really awesome. But that movie is awesome, so
some of our best some of our best puns though came last week. On the Michelle Wolf thing. Holy mother of God.
Yeah.
They walked right into that one.
Mm-hmm. The Valve hates waifus thing was a pretty good one too. I think that was when they donated to get you to play whatever the Catgirl game was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the one. Man, that was, like I said, that was one of the roughest, most awkward streams ever. Because I was at the computer, like I play any other PC game, right? But I'm back like this the whole time. Like, I didn't want to be close to the screen. I'm like, this is awkward. This does not feel right. This feels very wrong. What the fuck, Japan? So.
Always ask, what the fuck, Japan?
They do such awesome things. Like Gundams and even just giant robots. And then they do that. And I'm like, you've got all the awesome stuff right here. And then you have that shit. The hell, man.
Chicks dig giant robots,
That they do. That was a rough stream. Though I will say, the hardest live streams for me to do so far were when I had Ethan on and when I had Chuck Dixon on. Because really? I have such a inordinate amount of respect for both of those men. Mm-hmm. And I've been reading Chuck's comics for a long time. I've been reading just about anything that Ethan draws for a long time outside. The only book of his that I don't think I've read was since he started working at DC was his Flash stuff. And you think about it, it's like he is responsible for better or worse, him and Jeff Johns, for helping to revive both the Flash and Green Lantern. So it's been just insane for me this most recently.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I've even been looking at making more changes soon, you know, to the formats and things like that, just to I don't know. My fucks given is sort of like going downhill a bit. So, we'll see what happens. But let's take some more audience questions. I have sent out a link to the stream to
it's like my Chick-fil-A sandwich.
to a potential guest for today, but we'll see if she shows up. She said she might be able to make it, but we'll see what happens. Let's have a look here. So let's get a politics question. Does the alt-right like to claim Japan and Poland are examples of being an ethno-state? They do, and they don't know what a ethno-state is, if that's the case. An ethno-state is a nation that is solely devoted to and centered around an ethnicity. Thus the term ethno-state.
Yeah. Words mean things.
Yes. Wow! What the fuck?
What the fuck? What? Did I miss something?
We just got a $150 donation.
Whoa, what?
From Torino
the fuck?
Guzman. What?
Who and why?
What?
Are we worth this? Are we really worth this?
I don't know, but I'm trying to see if he left us a message with that.
Oh my lord. Okay, look, whoever donated, look, I've got an extra Chick-fil-A sandwich. You can have this.
Yes, we'll find a way to get it to you.
This, please. Here, take two. I don't care.
Holy shit, Torino. Oh
my god. Are we even worth $150?
I don't know, but I'm gonna verify that he didn't mean $15.
Yeah, please, because that's a lot. Holy crap.
Let me double check that. And if Torino, please let me know if that was not intentional. If you meant 15, and I will gladly give you the rest. Like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
You did mean 150?
Oh no, you mean? Oh my! Holy crap, dude.
Holy shit, dude. What?
God bless you, sir. God bless you. I believe that's what we call a birthday gift. Oh my god.
Alright, so here's what he says. Here's a couple of games to cleanse your palate of Necco's giant robots. Looking forward to play through. Let's have a look here. And then there's a couple links. Super Robot Wars. Oh? Well, I will pick these up, because that looks pretty awesome. And I will try to stream them at some point. So,
wow.
Thank you.
Just wow.
Like that's
Hold on, Fire Emblem with giant robots? Why haven't I played this?
Yeah, I like Super Robot Wars is awesome, and not only giant robots like the EVA units, Gundam together. Like let me look at the cover here. I don't recognize half of these, but I remember seeing old school footage of one of these games where it was like, this looks like Mazen Kaiser, EVA Unit 1. I'm looking at Robot Wars 5. EVA Unit 1 is on the cover. What else is there? The, God, I can't remember the name of it. The
Space Battleship Yamato's on there.
yeah, and so is the Gundam from Char's Counterattack.
Good God. Good freaking Lord. Why don't I own this?
Like, this is crazy. It looks really good too. Like some of these I don't
I'll have
recognize.
To this.
But it's hard not to know Mazinger Z, but
yeah, I'll definitely have to import this. Holy crap.
oh, the Crossbones Gundam's on there. God, that looks sick. Like, this looks really cool.
Have we ever played Mech Warrior series, including Mech Warrior Online? The last one I played was Mech Warrior 4.
Last one I played was 2, a long time ago.
Yeah, that was back when I still had a proper back when I still had a PC for gaming, really.
God, that was so crazy.
Holy crap. Yeah, I need to import this.
I'm sorry. I'm very, very humbled. Very humbled.
Yeah, thank God. Thank you. Holy crap. Just
because he gave me more money than I think is needed to
very, very yes.
Yeah, he gave me 50 extra bucks on top of these 2 games. So yeah. I will go ahead and put in the order.
Punch it, as it were. Not having a PC is a crime. Hey, guess what I'm streaming from right now? It's just not a gaming PC, that's the only thing.
Yeah. We definitely need to get Hatman in on the master race, that's for sure.
Tell you what, I did get For Honor for the X-Bone, finally.
Yes,
so
Hatman has finally officially joined the Crusade. So has... you have it on Xbox One?
Yes.
So does Thesk. Get
Sweet.
with him. So.
Sweet.
Have you gotten Gears 4 yet?
I've got Game Pass, so it's on there.
Thank God, because Thesk has that one too. And,
I'll need to get used to it. I have not played a Gears game since 3 first came out. So, it's been a while. For Honor is free on Steam right now. I think it is still too.
Yes,
the,
it is. All
standard
weekend.
edition, or the basic edition, or whatever.
All right, order is placed.
Sweet. I'm gonna return to my sandwich.
So thank you, Torino. I'm actually really looking forward to that. Like, that looks like a lot of fun. I've never played a Fire Emblem game, but I've played the other strategy games, so I'll probably fit into it pretty well.
Actually, can you get Mech Warrior 4 on Oh, okay. Free if you can get it. I probably still got my disc freaking somewhere.
I've been wanting to go back and play Mech Warrior 2 for a long time.
Yeah. And
I've just never really had the time. All right, they say we're missing questions. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Okay, all right.
What do we got?
Thoughts on Battlefield 5? CT117's been asking that for a while now.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because my old boss and one of our guests from way back were both embroiled in it, and then everybody else seemed to dogpile. So let me give my thoughts on something real quick. So here's my problem. I thought that Jeremy gave a very measured response to Angry Joe, and then when Joe responded to that one, he gave another very good and measured response. And that should have been the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I start seeing a bunch of other people making videos about the exact same fucking thing, you're dogpiling at that point. Now this is just my opinion, so I can be wrong. There is room for me to be incorrect. But when you pile onto a topic, there is a possibility that you can cause people to shell up. And when they shell up, this is all they're thinking about is their defense. They're not thinking about learning. They're not thinking about an opposing thought process. All they're thinking about is defending them. And when you do that, nothing happens. Because in their minds, people are harassers. Mm-hmm. And in that, their definition of harassment seems to change by the day. But the simple fact that, like, there's a bunch of people who want to make videos about it, it becomes very cynical. You see the topic is trending. You see that everyone's talking about it. I'm going to make a video too. Well, we know why you're making it. It has nothing to do with discussing the subject and adding something different. Because if you have nothing different to add to the topic, I don't understand why you're bringing it up. It's just for clicks. It's just for this. It's just for money. And I don't... That's why people wonder why I don't associate with a lot of people on the internet. It's because of that, or a lot of other YouTubers. Second thing is that obviously I think Joe was wrong. I think that Joe has a tendency, like a lot of the old guard in video games, him, Jim Sterling, and others, and I pointed this out to him a long time ago. I said, you can't strawman people. I'm like, that's what Sterling does all the time, and it's fucking annoying, and people will call you out on it. Because it leaves you, like, it's a logical fallacy for a reason. Mm-hmm. It leaves you open to more criticism than there was before. Discuss the actual ideas. And go from there. And he didn't do it. And that's why I think that he ended up looking very bad because of it. And obviously his fans are not happy with him because of it. They're like, they told us not to buy it, dude. They told us if we disagree not to buy it.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. So
they're just doing what they said.
Yeah. Fuck them. And Joe's biases, I think, got in the way on that one. He's like, I played it, I really liked it. He kept saying that over and over and over again.
Well, and okay, if you
that's fine, dude. Yeah. You're more than you're willing to love it as much as you want. But if the people behind it say don't buy it, you can't blame people for listening to them, especially if they're not happy about it.
Yeah.
And Dandy Man puts it very well. I've known this about Joe ever since I met him. He suffers from foot and mouth syndrome. Mm. And here's the thing. Yeah. I don't hate the guy. I still don't. Not happy with him, but I don't hate him. Because he did some shit for me back in the day that he didn't have to do. And he went out of his way and worked very hard to try to make Blistered Thumbs work. It's just, I've always been of the opinion that he tends to work harder, not smarter.
Hmm. Doesn't always work out.
No. All right.
There are questions that I did get emailed to me, by the way.
Oh, go for it.
So I would say this right now because I think Brimshay was asking also in the chat, and I've said this before, but I feel like I ought to reiterate. Because Twitter is shadow banning people, whenever we look in the Micah Q&A hashtag on Twitter, we don't get to see everybody that's actually posting in the hashtag because Twitter is shit. So if you want to guarantee that we will see your stuff on Twitter, still use the hashtag. Still use hashtag MicahQ and spelled out A. But tag us in the tweet. At the hat2, Micah is might of Micah C. Or you can email me directly. And I am alex@hatman.net. Short, sweet, to the point. I did get an emailed question, and I missed it over the last week. So I just want to apologize, first and foremost. Second, the person who asked this question did leave their real name in there, but I don't know if you want me to read it out or whatnot. So I'm just going to read the email name. So Starscream fan. 2 questions. Well, first, long-time listener, first-time questioner, politic and entertainment questions. First one, with the Democrats going full globalist with immigration, is the only thing that can change their minds is if a high-ranking Democrat have a family member hurt by an illegal alien like so many other families before them.
Say that one more time.
With the Democrats going full globalist on immigration, will they only change their mind if one of their own or a family member of theirs is killed by an illegal immigrant? Will that be enough to change their mind?
Sometimes I wonder, and I don't wish it on anyone, but a
certainly not.
lot of these people on the left, man, they really have this weird tendency to now how do I put this? To just they're so disconnected from reality. Like Elizabeth Warren's statements on the girl who was stalked and killed by an illegal immigrant recently. Her comments on it were so tone deaf. It's like, what are you even talking about, lady? So sometimes I wonder. I don't have a concrete answer there, but sometimes I genuinely wonder if it does take tragedy happening to you to really understand how bad a situation is. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be enough. I think depending on who it was, they would likely, at least for them, say, yeah, it's time to crack down. But I think they would end up being ostracized, regardless. And of course, you'll hear, what happened to you was tragic, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
Which, not always the best approach. I tend to think back to what happened with Gabby Giffords.
Yeah.
But considering, she was already, for gun control, that wasn't really a change.
No. If anything, it just solidified her point.
Yeah, but
or her,
more like
not her point. Sorry, her opinions.
Yeah, but more like Steve Scalise. Like what happened with him getting shot? For a inter-party baseball game or softball game or whatever it was, the charity game, I suppose. And then no one decries the violence on the left, or the ones that do address it say, now hold on, it's not as bad as you think. Yeah, I kind of feel like that would be the response in general.
Yeah. Let's have a look here and see what the chat's saying.
Well,
here.
We got one more question.
Oh, go ahead.
From Starscream fan. With comics going to hell in a handbasket, I stopped reading and only know things through all the great reviewers on YouTube and Micah. I'm wondering about DC's current Rebirth universe. Is it different from the pre-52 and New 52, or is it a mix of the two, or something else entirely? Most importantly, is that garbage that is Identity Crisis still non-existent in the Rebirth? I want to be able to like Zatanna again. Dat ass.
I didn't hate Identity Crisis at all.
Uh-oh.
I actually kind of like that comic for what it is. But then again, you also have to keep in mind, I was always a Marvel zombie. I never really got into DC until about 10, 11 years ago. So I didn't grow up with them. I didn't grow up with Batman. I didn't read Chuck Dixon until I was in college. So, I didn't know that Batman had ever had his back broken. I didn't know that... I knew about the death of Superman, because who in the United States didn't? But
best comic of all time.
Yeah, knew about it, owned the video game, which was actually kind of fun. But anyway... On Rebirth, I've enjoyed what I've read of it so far, but I consider Rebirth to be over, if that makes any sense, because a lot of the writers who were on the original books as they were reborn are leaving them now. That's why Bendis is on Superman, and they're also starting to go back to their classic costumes instead of the Rebirth ones, which is Batman just recently went back to his classic costume. Superman just went back to his. But with Batman, because, Tom King is a much better writer than Brian Michael Bendis. He actually gave him a reason.
Yeah.
Needless to say, though, if you go, issues 1 to 25 with most Rebirth titles, I've heard good things. My big picks, of course, would be the beginnings of Superman Rebirth, while both Action and Superman, when they were being written by Dan Jurgens and... God, who was writing that? I can't remember who was writing the main Superman book, but that one was really good too. So read up until Bendis, and then who was after that? Oh, and then Deathstroke and Batman as well have been really good. Mm-hmm. Deathstroke is like, I mean, it's written by Priest, you know. Like,
yeah.
And it's
can't go wrong.
Right now, it's one of my favorite comics out there. That and Batman are probably my two favorite books. But yeah, it's different than New 52 in the way that it's not like hardcore edgy. But there's some elements of it that I you know, from New 52 I did enjoy. I loved the new Superman costume. And I also was a big fan of Swamp Thing, New 52 Swamp Thing. And the Court of I shit on Scott Snyder's Batman a lot, but I really loved his Court of the Owls arc. I thought that was really cool. Even though like Batman's still kind of a plot device, but it's still fun. And Batman the Shadow was fun too. Scott Snyder's a weird one in a lot of ways. Talented but weird. Hardboiled Entertainment says, I love Clark and Lois being parents. He's hoping to see it in the DCEU films. You know what? If I had the chance, if I was in charge of the DCEU, that is what I would be doing. I would stop everything as it is now and fast forward like 5 years to where Clark and Lois are living in Smallville with a kid, you know, and stuff like that. Like, yeah.
I would follow up whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, and just go from there. Basically,
that'd be interesting too. All right, what else we got here? This stream is right now just kind of Q&A and shooting the shit.
Yeah,
I've
casual hangout stream, you know.
Yeah, we're just sort of reminiscing. Huh. But I'm kind of bummed out because I arranged for a couple people to be here, and I've given out the link to one of them to show up, and they haven't made it yet, so it's kind of a bummer. But worst comes to worst, I was always prepared about us just having fun for a couple hours, and then when hour 3 rolls around, I'm going to put the link to the hangout in our Discord server, so the patrons can come on and talk as well. So,
which means if you're not a patron yet, it's not too late.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Doomsday Clock even a thing? Because people love to shit on everything that Alan Moore has ever made.
Well, it's not. It's actually not that, because from what I've read of it, the book's not bad. It's actually kind of interesting, but
still, it's very much not Watchmen.
No, it's not. But they're doing it to hold on to the rights. If they hadn't done the book, then the rights would have gone back to Alan Moore. So they still pay him for it, but they wanted the rights to those characters because it's Warner Brothers we're talking about here. Let's see here. Hardboiled asks, so when will Hatman get into the comics business like me? Who do you think my editor is?
Yeah, I've got the degrees for that. It's my trade. That's literally what I do for a living. I'm an editor for a living. So.
Have the two of us considered debating Mark Collett or alternative hypothesis on civic nationalism? I would never have a conversation with our alternative hypothesis ever. It's a very dishonest person. Mark Collett I know nothing about. I'd have to look into him. I'm not big on discussing anything with the alt-right. I don't want to give them the attention that they deserve, that they think they deserve. I don't care about their ideas. I think their ideas are largely irrelevant when it comes to politics in general, not just now, but for the next 50 years. So, I am more interested in having an honest discussion about certain issues. And that is not something I think I could ever had with someone like that. So, from what you can tell, he's not alt-right. Well, I know that he had a stream on Rocking Mr. E's channel with Sargon and somebody else. It was like two people who were against civic nationalism, two people that were for it, and I didn't watch it, so I can't really say anything. But no, I have no desire to talk to alt-righters at all, ever. I don't have the time or the patience. But traditionalists, I would be interested in talking to. I want to talk to the distributist. I want to talk to Fritz Imperial. I've been wanting to talk to them for a while. And there's been like, I've DM'd back and forth with the distributist about having a conversation, and we just haven't found the time yet. But at some point we'll do that. So, how happy will we be when there's no need for a weekly political podcast? What do you mean exactly, Matchstick?
I think, like, maybe when there's no more idiocy left to cover, but I don't think that'll ever happen as a pipe dream.
I don't think so either. Like I said, when I gave myself the 1-year ultimatum, even if the main channel does not work out, I still want to do this podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There was something that I saw that I wouldn't mind answering. Cigars, misunderstood as bad as cigarettes? I partake in a cigar on occasion, and by on occasion, I mean, like, extremely rarely. Like, maybe 1 or 2 a year. As bad as cigarettes? I mean, you know, anything that you smoke is still gonna put you at a risk for cancer, but cigars, you know, you're not putting that smoke, like, straight into your lungs unless you're just bad at smoking them.
Yeah.
But you still, you know, you could still get mouth cancer from them.
Yeah.
I mean, just like chewing tobacco.
Pretty much.
You're always going to run that risk, but
all things in moderation is my perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I love a good cigar on occasion. You know, I love a good glass of wine on occasion.
Yeah, same here.
So, let's see. Oh, Eclectic 1995 has a good one for high school stuff. In a lot of high school movies, the popular crowd are often depicted as jerks. But the last I checked, people are attracted to those who aren't assholes. So why is this so common? Because high school is really fucking tribalistic.
Yeah.
God, I hated high school so much. So,
yeah.
If the main channel goes away, would I preserve the videos? What I plan on doing is, because I've got like 700, I plan on going through and just cutting all the bullshit out of them and leaving the really good ones, and then just kind of walking away from there. Because there's some videos.
Get them while you can, just in case.
There are some videos, man, that I have made that I am extremely proud of. I loved the America Chavez reviews. I really, you know, my biggest videos, obviously, I'm very proud of. Except there's one that I'm not. There is one that I'm not, and it is the response to the white people New Year's resolutions. I am not proud of that video.
Really?
I'm very much not proud of it. I didn't like. As time has gone on, I've regretted it because I think that I did nothing to add to discourse. I was just insulting people, and I think that that's normally not my style, unless I really have a good reason. If there's something about that person I really, really dislike, you know, then I try not to do that. But the ones that where I talk about conservatism and I break it down, the ones where I talk about like politics and business, that sort of thing I'm very proud of, because I think that aside from philosophy and theology, which are my 2 favorite topics to read about, what I'm really good at is business ethics and business discussion. I understand business very well. So, because it's not hard at all. Alright, let's see here. Did we see the Gamescom Devil May Cry 5 trailer?
No, I haven't.
I did. Dante hits people with his fucking motorcycle.
Oh, shit.
It looks like it's going to be insane. If Devil May Cry is not insane, then you're doing it wrong. So
that's awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. I love how like the music gets better as you play better.
Oh yeah.
And like all the journalists that have reviewed it are like, well, the music's kind of shit.
Yeah, I really, being somebody who's very rhythmic, like once I get a rhythm, I just generally perform better. Like if you see me boxing, like that's one thing that my coach tells me constantly while I'm working. He's like, get the rhythm, get the rhythm, get the rhythm. And once I get the rhythm, I'm in there. And good luck getting away from me. But if people want me to talk about my boxing style, I'll do so a little bit later. But point being is that I'm thinking about that. It's like, oh shit, this game is, I'm going to be crazy at this. So, oh, here's a good one that's relevant to the channel. Speaking of Jim Sterling, what are the origins of linking him to the Scott Steiner "he's fat"? So, 3 a.m., I'm reading an article by Jim Sterling on one monitor. On the other monitor, I have the best and funniest moments of one Scott Steiner. And the "he's fat" promo comes up, and I'm like, it was just the greatest moment of clarity. It was just like, oh my god, what would Scott Steiner think of Jim fucking Sterling, son? And I'm like, this would be great. I'm putting it in every fucking video I mention him. And so I did. And Jim Sterling fans have hated me for that. They're like, why do you body shame him? I'm like, I don't know. Why doesn't he put the fucking fork down?
Begs the question, why isn't there a dedicated "he's fat" button?
It's another one I need to do.
Oh, write them down.
So we've got millions will die. then we've got Thundering Dumbass of the Week, and then we've got "he's fat." So that's 3 buttons I will probably add in the future. Oh, here's it. CT117's wanted this question answered a while now, so sorry about that, buddy. But it says, what about there being a playable female in a World War II setting in Battlefield 5? I like my World War II games to be historically accurate. It's nothing personal. Like, if you've got a game like Wolfenstein, which is obviously fiction, do whatever you want. But
yeah,
if you're telling me that it is set in World War II, and you want to portray the battles and the sacrifices of the greatest generation, I'm in. I love World War II history. And there's a lot of people out there that do, because it is considered one of the greatest wars of all time and one of the greatest military victories ever. So many of our heroes in the military come from World War II. I mean, fucking Patton. Romney, you magnificent bastard, I read your book! Eisenhower. McCarthy. Like, there's a lot of them.
It's iconic, but, you know, you still want to be... I mean, like, if DICE said, this is a somewhat alternate take on World War II, okay, fine, I'm down. Then I'll accept that. But
or if they just said, we're gonna go crazy and have steampunk World War II.
Oh God, oh that'd be crazy. But no, don't say you want to go for a historically accurate setting, and then go, oh, because we're so historically accurate, there's whammons in this too.
Yeah, and
we should have put whammons in Battlefield 1, but like, come the literal fuck on. Like, you are digging for anything to justify this decision, because it was made to appease to identity politics. Like, let's be fucking real.
Yeah.
So I get it, but you're stupid.
Pretty much. I went ahead, until any of our guests come in, I've went ahead and switched our orientation for the rest, until then.
Fair enough. How much better do we think the world would be if Karl Marx didn't exist? Well, you still got Friedrich Engels to worry about.
Yeah, there is that.
If Marxism didn't exist, I still think the socialist ideology, somebody else would have come up with it. Like, I feel like that's just one of those things that eventually someone would have tried to push. And, you know, it depends on when it would have happened. So I don't know. That's always the tricky bit with asking, you know, what if historical questions.
Yeah, because you do, like, especially with philosophy, you kind of wonder, is like, would there eventually be somebody who does come up with it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not of the opinion that somebody wouldn't have that bad of an idea at some point.
Yeah. Koopa's Revenge Home says, ironically, it would have been Hitler. Well, take into consideration also that the rise of fascism was largely meant as a counter to the rise of communism.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very possible that it wouldn't have been Hitler that did that.
Yeah. What are our opinions on Rommel? There's a controversial German figure.
Yeah. Desert Fox.
I mean, strategically speaking, he was one of the best ever.
Can't deny that.
I've read conflicting things on him. Some have said he was a fan of the Nazis, some have said he wasn't. I don't really know what to say beyond that. I mean, yeah, I can't really give you like an in-depth opinion on that. I would need to get somebody in here who's more historically oriented than I am. Used to be a big history buff, not so much anymore.
Excuse me. What if Muhammad didn't exist? Then
A lot of things would have been very different.
The Middle East would have been taken over by the Byzantines, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe. Because that whole caliphate, you know, they owned the Middle East for the longest fucking time. Rumors are that Rommel secretly supported Operation Valkyrie to whack Hitler. Well, I mean, say what you will about Hitler, but he did kill Hitler. He also killed the guy who killed Hitler, so he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Fuck Hitler.
Yeah, fuck him. Oh, there's been a couple that donations that I've just received, but for some reason it did not pop up in Streamlabs. What the hell? So let me... one was from Talon Silverbane, so thank you, Talon.
Thank you, sir.
And let me see who the other one was from. Come
Christian Middle East. Oh, that's right. Maybe the Crusades would have... Well, Crusades might not have even happened.
Yeah, exactly. And Daniel Parker as well. Holy shit, Daniel. $50? Seriously?
Dude, what the heck is this?
Y'all are crazy.
God, stop it. I never ask for anything for my birthday. Stop this. Stop it. Stop being nice. Actually, don't stop, but just stop being nice to us.
Oh my god, you guys. Seriously. Holy shit.
Jeez, thank you guys. Thank you. I'm gonna eat another Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Mail time button.
Oh no, mail call. Lee Ermey. Mail call button for the Q&A.
Not a bad idea. Oh, here's one for you, Hatman, or I want you to answer, because you have a different opinion on Ayn Rand than I do.
Okay.
Thoughts on the Fountainhead and parallels to what's going on in music, movies, games, media, etc. today, like CalArts being praised and Don Bluth being slandered?
I don't think I read The Fountainhead. I think I read, I think I just read Atlas Shrugged.
Oh. So
I can't really comment to that one.
I hate to say it, I haven't read The Fountainhead either. Sorry. It's
Sorry.
on the list. I'm gonna have to read that at some point.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. What if we got Trotsky over Stalin? I think the Cold War would have gone very, very differently. I think the USSR would have basically seen it as a mission to expand communism way earlier than they actually did. Hell, World War II would have been extremely fucking different.
Oh yeah.
The Soviets might not have even gotten fucking involved. There was a video way back when that somebody made. I forget the damn channel name. Where they asked that question, what if Trotsky had taken over instead of Stalin? I think like the end answer was, yeah, the Soviet Union still would have been trash, but less people would have gone to the gulags for dumb shit. So it's like, do you want to be shot or do you want to be poisoned?
Basically. Let's see here. Since we got Jerusalem back, do you think we can reclaim Constantinople? Well, that would mean the fall of Erdogan, right? I'm okay with this.
Let's do it.
I'm okay with Erdogan falling very, very fast. Psycho. There was another question above that. If I'm elected president, I will formally recognize the Armenian genocide. Whoa! A wild Ethan Van Sciver appears.
Hey!
Hey guys, 1 second. My headphones are tangled up.
I see classic X-Men comics back there.
Yes, Ethan, how the heck are you, man?
There we go. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing good. Like that. Really good. It's great to be here. It's good to be on the Micah Curtis show. If you find gentlemen. Yeah. What are we discussing?
Well, we so far we've just been basically celebrating the 2-year anniversary of this goofy podcast that we've been doing, and just taking questions from the audience. But Ethan, what's new? It's been a little bit since we've talked.
Well, we got stuff going on, man. I'm just sitting here working on the Jawbreakers cover. It's taken forever. It's a lot of drawing of fur, a lot of tiny little, look at the fur. It's like, my God, so that's taken a long time. Crazy stuff, man. Comicsgate, you might not know, you might not be aware. Comicsgate is constantly under siege by blue-haired weirdos, constantly.
That we are.
It's really strange. I think I feel them gasping for air, and worried that the ship is sinking. And we're just doing our own thing. We're not really bothering anybody, but for some reason they can't kind of just go away and leave us alone. They're harassing us and insisting that we're harassing people. And I mean, all we're doing, Micah, is making our Star Wars videos. We're just like you. We're not bothering nobody.
Yeah.
We're making Star Wars videos. We're making our comics. We're making money. We're making opportunities. Young up-and-coming artists and writers, creators, to do their thing. Get out there. Make comics, man. It's a wide open world, and you don't have to bend the knee to lunatic leftists to do what you're inclined to do. So it's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle against these people. But, listen, I got piss and vinegar. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Happy 2-year anniversary. Happy 2-year anniversary.
Thank
That's
you.
Great.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you.
I saw it. One thing that kind of broke my heart was I saw what Jeff Lemire had put on Twitter, I think it was a couple of days ago, saying, oh God, what was it specifically? I'll pull it up real quick. I was just sort of shocked that the opinions of some such people, that why they even mean to. He said that, oh gosh, now is the time to speak up, as if there are people out there that are going to start killing one another over how many claws are on Wolverine's hand or something.
Yeah.
He says, the time is now to stand up for female comic book creators. The time is now to stand up for transsexual comic book creators. The time is now to stand up for creators of color and of all sexual orientations, races, and religions. If we don't do that... The
time is now to bend over for SJW comic creators. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're saying bend over for comic book industry. The time is now. Bend over, take it, We're going to do what we want with this industry. And by the way, you can't even get away from us. There is no escape. Even if you go off and do your own thing, you're publishing your own comics, you're not even utilizing direct distribution. You're not even involved in any single way with the mainstream comic company industry. We're still coming after you. We're still going to talk about how we have to stand up against you. We're still going to drive you nuts. We're still going to harass you. We're still going to write articles about you. We're still going to threaten to punch you in the face if we see you at conventions. Stand up with Jeff Lemire. Stand up with Jeff Lemire and drive people out of the industry. Stand up with Jeff Lemire. Help him shrink this industry even further. It's important. It's important to Jeff Lemire that they stand up for women and transgendered and people of color, all of whom are over here with us right now, drawing comics here because this is where the money is. We're making money here. We're making opportunities for people of all different types, of all different genders, colors, sexual preference. They're all over here making comics with Comicsgate. In a great video, Micah, called "Who is the Leader of Comicsgate?" And it was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was just made by the fans. It was just the fans declaring that they themselves take ownership and take possession of this movement. It was all people of color. It was all women. It was all LGBT fans saying, I am the leader of Comicsgate, and you can be too. And that was our message. That was our message. Still is our message. You are the leader of Comicsgate. You don't have to be a white male. And by the way, if you are a white male, get better lighting than what I've got because I glow in here. It sucks to be a white male in this office. Yeah, do something. Get out there. Do something. Be productive. You don't have to obsess over weirdo politics on Twitter all day. You can obsess over the hairs on a giant gorilla's head, with your pen. This is what comics is meant to be. It's meant to be rock and roll, and they're ruining it. Stand up with Jeff Lemire to make things less fun.
Yeah.
Stand up with Jeff Lemire to lower page rates, to put comic shops out of business. Stand up with Jeff Lemire. And when you do, keep your fingers crossed that they don't decide that you are next and that you are not following the agenda. Keep your fingers crossed that they don't decide that you need to be exiled next. Stand up with Jeff Lemire and his weirdo, absolutely weirdo comics cult, full of lies and deceit and threats and all of those things, and hold the industry hostage. Or come along with us in Comicsgate and have fun, because that's what we're doing. We're having a great time, and everyone's welcome.
Yeah, it's sort of like the angry neighbor next to a really good party. And all I could think of when I saw that was, it's like, I don't think Jeff realizes that could potentially be thousands of copies of Black Hammer or Sentry not sold tomorrow. And I wondered to myself, it's like, what are you thinking? He's thinking that he's in a movie. He's thinking that this isn't real life and these aren't real people who are actually making a choice to walk away and do their own thing because they no longer feel like they can be creative in this industry. Mm-hmm. He's thinking that he's in a horror movie. That's what he's thinking. Yeah. And all of these people think they're in movies. They think that they're in some kind of weirdo movie where they're Jimmy Stewart and standing up to the power, but they're not. They're standing up to ordinary people and calling them names. And that's why the industry is shrinking. The industry will continue to shrink until these people are put a stop to. Mm-hmm. And all it would take is a word. All it takes is a word from DC or Marvel. We're tired of losing money. We're tired of losing money. We recognize that the source of the leak is right here, and you need to plug your mouth. That's what it is. Agreed. So I hope it happens, Micah. I do too. Hey, we got a question from the audience, Ethan, and oddly enough, this ties into, I don't know if you heard, but I actually finally got to talk with why is my brain not working? Hatman, help me here.
Chuck Dixon.
Chuck Dixon, just a few weeks ago.
Except for Chuck.
Yes, Chuck's awesome.
Except for Chuck.
And this ties into that. He says, when will those of us in the Comicsgate group make an Image-style joint universe company? Because if you think about it, you've got yourself, you've got John, you've got Doug Tendapel, you've got there's probably other creators that I'm blanking on right now, and as well.
Mitch and Elizabeth Breitweiser. We've got John Malin.
Yep.
We've got, oh my gosh, we've got James Hudnall coming aboard. We've got a lot of people, and those
Donald
are just
DeLay
the big
as well,
names.
yeah.
Donald DeLay, absolutely. Those are just the big names. We're also opening the way for younger creators like Nasser Rabadi to come over here. Nasser is 21 years old. He's Comicsgate down to his heart. He's loved comics his whole life, and he's Comicsgate. He decided he wanted to be a writer. He worked really, really hard to convince an artist to take a chance on one of his scripts. Boom, Indiegogo, 15 grand, I believe.
Yep.
That's unheard of. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
You won't get that. My first issue of Cyberfrog that I did for Hall of Heroes when I was 19, I was supposed to be paid $500 and was not paid $500. So that is the way that the industry was in the 90s. Imagine how it is now.
Yeah.
We're the only people who are making money. And they're terrified. They're absolutely terrified, Micah.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm in a similar boat. Like, there's some other people that I've even spoke to. Of the 2 books that I have planned out, I've been, I'm more known for having written for Truth Revolt and a couple other websites back in the day. But I finally got somebody who's willing to do art on one of the books that I'm planning out, and now I'm just looking for the other one. So, I mean, the question is though, should there once, maybe in a couple of years, should a big group of us put together a company? Because that was something that Chuck thought needed to happen at some point down the road.
Well, we're talking down the road. Right now, it's guerrilla. We're using these guerrilla tactics. Just stay low, get out there, do what you can, every man for himself. Do what you can under the umbrella of the cause of Comicsgate. Raise money, have a successful book. We'll all help you. But at the moment, we're just not organized enough. Nobody's put out a comic yet. We've had extraordinary success in terms of funding, but there aren't any books yet. That we've only been doing this for 4 months.
Yeah.
So once time goes by, once we get used to publishing, because we all have to learn to publish, there's an opportunity to form a bigger company. If some people want to. But then again, I mean, I'm more interested in forming my own company.
Mm-hmm. I'm
more interested in doing all caps comics and hiring people to come over and paying them a great rate, a really good living, a comic rate that's competitive with Marvel and DC to draw my own ideas. I've said it over and over again. The eye to, what we're doing here in comics needs to be about getting rich. It needs to be about making money. That needs to be first and foremost, or else, this industry is going to die. It can't be about social justice. It can't be about messaging. It can't be about making things fair for everyone all the time, and that being your sole focus. It has to be about making money. Has to be. So that is my goal, and I will find a way to do it, and then I will hire people to help me do it even better. I will be Scrooge McDuck. I'll be Uncle Scrooge McDuck. They already call me Uncle Ethan, and I will put my nieces and nephews to work, drawing comics, drawing good, IPs, making a good living for themselves. I'll rake in the money. I'll be like, thank you for the profits. All of that needs to be the way Marvel and DC think. It used to be the way they thought, and now it's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on out there. I really don't know why people aren't out there trying to kick ass. We're here to kick some ass.
Yeah.
Make good comics and make money.
That's just one thing that I've when I talked to Chuck, like, one thing that I had noticed that is the common mistake that's always made is, like, they're continuously trying to bring in non-comic book people into comics as if that's going to sell books. It's like, has Ta-Nehisi Coates really sold that many issues of Black Panther? Not as much as you'd think, not without them giving him a new #1 every other year. And then they're bringing in this other girl who's a sociologist from Chicago who is just as political as he is to write Riri Williams. And it's like, do you really think that people are going to want to read this? It's going to be more just politics thrown straight in your face, the most divisive thing in the country right now. Why do you want to divide your purchasing base? That's idiotic. It's terrible business acumen.
I've never read a Ta-Nehisi Coates book, so I don't really know. And this new writer, I mean, I think her father's a famous cartoonist.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to write. So it might be in the blood. She might know what she's doing. We won't know until we see.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read it. I'm busy. You guys let me know.
I will definitely be reviewing it, but I can't. When it comes to Ta-Nehisi Coates, though, I will say this: you can simulate the experience by just taking a Zoloft. He's not very entertaining.
It's boring.
No.
Yeah.
He's a journalist by trade, so why he's writing fiction, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
And he writes these like long, drawn out political pieces that are overly poetic in certain ways. And the problem is that in politics, it just takes him forever to get to the point. And then usually when he gets to the point, the argument is so bad that you're like, why are you popular? Oh, right, you hate white people. Yeah. That's why. So,
well, I mean, again, I don't know to speak on that, but all of the identity politics that you find over at Marvel and DC. I mean, I hope that we don't find ourselves in that predicament ourselves.
Yeah.
I would like to hire people. We've got a guy named Antonio Bryce. He is black, and he has a book called Brand. He's working with Kane and White. It looks like old school Image. It's just totally awesome, and his heart is in it. I mean, his heart is in it. And I know his heart is in it. The reason why I started promoting him, and there are lots of Indiegogos out there. There are lots of people who are launching Indiegogos. I want to bring people on my channel and promote their books when I see that their heart, it's like his heart was beating out of his chest for Comicsgate. He was, I Google search my name, every day. And I found a video that just said, making gumbo and watching Ethan Van Sciver on Comicsgate Live. And I went, what the hell is this? So I clicked on the video, and it's this guy. He's like, hey, I'm Antonio Brandt. And you watch him making this gumbo in a pot.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to sit down and have my gumbo. I'm watching my Ethan Van Sciver on YouTube. And he's like, I'm all about Comicsgate. I'm all about Comicsgate. And I was like, let me check out this guy's book. And it looked dynamite. But I mean, that like caught my eye. It's like, I love the idea of someone being at home, having a dream, making dinner, and dreaming about being a part of Comicsgate, and then having an Indiegogo project, just trying to make it work. And his Indiegogo project, I think, raised like under $1,000 over at Kickstarter when he first launched it. He brought it to Indiegogo, tried really hard to catch our attention, got it, and now he's up. I mean, I don't even know. He's doing great right now. He's 15,000, I think, and he's still got 3 weeks to go, maybe. I don't know, 2 weeks to go. He's going to do great. He's going to get funded. He's going to get his book done. And it's because he is somebody with enthusiasm. He's somebody with talent and charisma. And his book, his idea, it's sexy women and monsters and big, powerful men. It'll sell every single time. Oh, yeah. Every time.
Absolutely. So here's a question that people have been asking, and I'm curious about too. What's with the pies?
Oh, well, I get memed on every single day by my my lovely audience who I adore. I tell them personal details. I shouldn't, but I do it every time. I'm stupid. I was at Walmart with my wife grocery shopping, and I saw this apple pie, and I put it in the cart. It was in the produce section. So she's getting grapes and apples and carrots and I put an apple pie in the cart, and she made me take it out of the cart, So I'm not getting apple pie. Well, they love that story. They love that story, and it just I became like the pie man. I became Ethan eats 20 pies a day. I don't even eat one. I eat 0 pies because my wife won't let me. I'm 15 days pie sober right now. I haven't had a pie since that moment, and they never let me forget it. They're just like, you and those pies. Somebody got my address. I accidentally doxed myself on one of my live streams.
Uh-oh.
Somebody found, well, it happens. It's okay. It's all right. If my fans find me, that's great. They sent me over via Amazon a crate of Hostess apple pies.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, I'm sober. Like, I'm pie sober. It's so piety. I can't eat these Hostess apple pies. I can't. But that's the ultimate comic book pie, isn't it? The Hostess apple pie.
Oh, gosh. Well, I've been on the keto diet for the last 3 months now, so I I can't even
Oh,
look
you
at
poor
it.
bastard.
Yeah. I will. It's been hard, but I've lost over 30 pounds so far. So.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So it's been crazy, but let's see if there's any other questions. Somebody's asking about if Cyberfrog and Pepe are related. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Cyberfrog actually outdates the Pepe meme by quite
very much.
Cyberfrog. Yeah. Cyberfrog was created in 1993, and he used to be called. This is amazing. He used to be called Fascist Frog. That's where that was his original name, because he was merciless and he used to go around just killing criminals. And I was like, kind of a Judge Dredd kind of frog.
Yeah.
And I quickly changed it to Cyberfrog because I figured that was probably more marketable than Fascist Frog. Turns out it was. Turns out it was a good move. So it's kind of funny. It's like that happened, and then the Pepe meme. But I mean, I've loved frogs my whole life. My whole arm is tattooed with frogs. You know, it's like frogs are my totem animal. You know, it's like they represent good luck.
Yeah.
And I've actually had dreams where, like, Andrea, my wife, will be like, "Come on downstairs. I want to show you what I did to your office." And I go downstairs, and she's turned it into a tropical swamp frogland with pet frogs of all kinds, like tree frogs, colored poison dart frogs. And I'm like, in my dream, I'm like, "You did this for me?" Like, I'm so happy to see that she's turned my office into a swamp, you know, and it's just like frogs everywhere. I'm like, this is magical. This is more than I deserve. So frogs represent good luck, you know, just like she represents good luck to me, and that's always a good thing. So Cyberfrog, certainly bringing him back has brought me good luck. It's great to dig out the old issues again. Here's a nice Art Adams cover on Cyberfrog number 0. You know, going through these and just finding, you know, what I was doing when I was a kid, modernizing it, you know, making it make sense today. It's a lot of fun, and these have gone up in value. These are crazy now. I mean, issues of Cyberfrog, back issues of Cyberfrog on eBay are ridiculous. I mean, they're ridiculous. So people are enthusiastic about it. I miss this. This is what the 90s used to be like. People were excited about buying back issues. Prices were sky high. Everybody was hunting for rare comics, and they were excited about a new launch that was coming out. And this is what Comicsgate is, you know?
Yeah. Like,
it's great.
It's about making it all fun again. And that's...
Yeah.
I feel like there's just, in general, it seems like that a lot of people have just lost the plot with that. It's like, you're in the entertainment industry. The point is to entertain people. Entertainment is fun! Like, what, 1 + 1 = 2, people. Come on. So,
yeah, I like what Zach says about this, diversity in comics. He just talks about how, you know, our comics are, comics are art, but really we shouldn't be thinking of them as art. We should be really thinking of them the same way like a hamburger vendor thinks about his hamburger.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm just trying to make you something fun, you know, and hope that you like it. So how do you like your hamburger? Here it is. And it's like, it better be good so that you'll come back tomorrow for another one. I want to keep things humble about these books. I don't want to be like, this is my artistic magnum opus. No, it's a frog comic, and he's going to be stepping on giant bees. There's going to be all kinds of zombie violence and fun, and that's it. If you find that to be art, that's good. But all I'm trying to do is give you a good time for about 20 minutes. You know, well, I hope it lasts 20 minutes. I don't know. Sometimes I don't last that long. Like I do my best though. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I have faith in you, Ethan. No worries there. But yeah, it's like we talked about last time. It really is hamburgers, you know, or
it is hot dogs and hamburgers and ice cream cones. Absolutely.
Yes. It was one of the what was the analogy I used last time? What a lot of comic creators are doing is it's like if the cook goes out in front of his restaurant every day and chucks bricks at people. You know, it's like that. Who are you winning over there? It's like, yeah, I get it. The girl in this case, you wanted to win the presidential election, didn't. Move on. You're not losing.
Move on.
It's like the only reason you're losing money is because of yourself at this point.
Yeah, I'm changing his name to Chuck Brickson now. This is going to be Chuck and Bricks. Standing out front of your restaurant throwing bricks at your customers. That's just wrong. That's bad business. We should know better than that. But somehow we don't know, Micah. Some people don't understand. But we do.
Oh, yes.
We do.
So personally, I've been trying to spend like an hour every night writing, just because I'm so excited about, like, I've told the chat about like my ideas, and just to see their enthusiasm about new ideas, fresh ideas, different takes on things. I haven't seen this about comics in a long time, and
No.
Jeff Lemire's not creating that. Dan Slott's not creating that. They're too busy complaining about politics, which they're not even in the business of.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not understand it. All right, here's a question from the chat for you, Ethan. What are your favorite comic book movies?
Favorite comic book movies are going to be the classics. First of all, the Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy is going to stand the test of time, just like Superman did. The first two Superman. Well, I'll go ahead and say all four Superman movies, with Christopher Reeve, just because it's Christopher Reeve and he's Superman, even when he's being used in a silly way. But it's particularly Superman 2, which I just think is so cool. There's so many cool moments in Superman 2. Care to Step Outside, General? Awesome. Why can't they make Superman like that anymore? Masculine with a sense of humor, self-confident, instills hope. He's going to take care of things. I miss that Superman. He doesn't seem to exist in the movies right now. I hope they fix that.
Yeah.
I like I think I like Batman Returns. I went back and I watched the first Batman, like Batman '89. It doesn't hold up, dude. It's like
Really?
overlong, tedious, weird.
Yeah.
I wish it was better.
That was sort of my my big problem with the Tim Burton Batman. It just didn't feel. I think Kevin Smith just is like, doesn't feel like Batman. And
I think the second one does. I like him driving through the circus with the Batmobile and knocking over the clowns on stilts. I just thought that was cool.
yeah,
That's great. And Catwoman was terrific. But yeah, I don't have good feelings about the first one anymore, like I did when I first saw it in the theater. But I think I'll watch them. I might watch them again tonight. Now you made me want to watch those.
so yeah, the running through clowns, like that sounds like something Jim Starlin would have wrote around the time of Death in the Family.
Oh yeah. Fun.
Yep, and apparently, on my behalf, Hatman here got to hear about how the next the Infinity War sequel is going to open from Jim himself. So that was kind of cool.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. That's a good compromise. They weren't treating him very well. Well, Marvel Comics wasn't. Marvel Studios was doing just fine.
Yeah, I haven't heard a complaint from him about them yet. He was super happy about how Thanos turned out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I have to ask this because you and Jeff Johns had basically, or you're the reason that Green Lantern is relevant again. How did you feel when you watched the Green Lantern movie? How did you feel about it?
Well, I didn't watch it for a long time. I automatically had a bad feeling about it. This is the hard thing about working at DC. One of the hard things, it's like when that movie was coming out, everybody was kind of like, yeah, it looks like it's going to be great. I like the casting of Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan. I like the casting of Mark Strong as Sinestro. And I was like, yeah, it's great. And I remember sitting next to Jeff Johns at some panel, I think in Florida, and he had his computer with him and everything. And I was just like, you've seen, like, obviously you've seen Green Lantern so far. I was like, how is it? He's like, oh, it's great, man. It's great. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, it's great. And I went, okay, well, I'll take your word for it. And when it came out, of course, it bombed tragically.
Yeah.
And I remember having friends over. I did an interview for it in LA for the Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought the Blu-ray because I'm on it.
Yeah.
And I had friends over to watch that, and then we were going to try to watch the movie, and I got hammered. I drank like a bottle and a half of red wine and quit after 40 minutes. I was just like, I don't even know what this movie is. I don't know what's going on. And I haven't finished it, but I did see the coda at the end with Sinestro getting the yellow, and I was just like, okay. I don't know. What'd you think of it?
I was not a fan. I thought to
It's
myself,
painful.
yeah, it really is. It's like, why is Parallax a cloud now? First Galactus was a cloud, now Parallax is a cloud. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
did you see the original version? They did Parallax just like my design.
Yeah.
They tried it out, and it looked great. I mean, it looked cool. I was like, why didn't you do this?
You're the one who really gave that entity a look. So I'm like,
yeah.
And then
why not do it?
And then Cloud.
The clouds are scarier than space crickets. Maybe, you know, but yeah, I feel like that the movie killed the momentum of the comic book too, which was interesting. It's interesting to notice. It's like the movie came out, it didn't do well. Green Lantern was on top of the world. I mean, it was one of the top selling DC comics. And the movie came out, and you know, people just went, maybe I don't like this as much as I thought I did, and sales kind of began to decline, and enthusiasm began to decline, and yeah, it was a bad time.
Yeah, well, that's a bummer. So that entire run on Green Lantern is one of my favorites ever. Just comic runs in general.
Yeah, the whole run is a masterpiece. Absolutely. I was happy to contribute to it.
Oh yeah, say it was. I for the longest time, your art from I want to say it's the final issue of Lantern Rebirth, where Hal punches Batman in the face, was my phone wallpaper for the longest time. So
really,
oh yeah, I always loved that scene. I don't know why. There was the way you drew Batman there, and pardon what my fanboyism, but you gave him such a with the way that his cowl would spike up at the shoulder. You gave him sort of almost this otherworldly, almost like he blended straight into the Shadow feeling. Where did that come from? Like what made you decide to go with that particular design idea?
Well, when Jeff wrote the story, it was complicated. There was a lot of thought went into Green Lantern Rebirth. I remember realizing that Batman was the villain of the story, because Batman is the one who didn't want Hal to come back. And Jeff told me, I said, hey, Batman's kind of the bad guy here. He's like, yeah, Batman represents the skepticism of the fans. So, you know, Batman is the one who's saying, why should we let him back? We don't trust him. He's a murderer. He killed all these people. And we need to show that Batman is wrong over the course of these 6 issues. And then, you know, Hal is back and you're going to have to deal with it, was the kind of attitude. So I remember in the first issue, I made Batman just a shape. He was all in silhouette, just with eyes and teeth, maybe not teeth, but all just eyes. And he just represented a shadow of a doubt, is a good phrase. So at one point towards the end of that issue, you know, Batman is saying all these things, he's asserting all these things about Hal Jordan that we hope aren't true. But we trust Batman because he's a shadow. We trust him because he doesn't feel human to us. He feels better than human. And then at one point, Jon Stewart just lights him up with his ring, and just turns on the ring. And he's like, you don't know, you know, you don't have the right to talk like this about Hal, et cetera, et cetera. But what he's doing essentially is showing that you're just a dude. You're just a dude wrapped in a bed sheet. You have no authority over the Green Lantern Corps. You are not one of the Guardians. You have no great wisdom about Hal Jordan. You just have a personal bias. And you know, when you see Batman's face confronting Jon Stewart on that page, you can see that Batman has some self-doubt as well about what he's saying. So great writing by Jeff Johns. Great writing. And I'm proud of the work that I did on that book as well. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, man. It really is. Here's a question from the chat for you. Do you think we'll ever get comics about sword and sorcery like Conan the Barbarian or Elric of Melibene ever again? Oddly enough, I don't think that I've seen anyone from the comics crowd really take on that sort of a thing yet. Not to my a lot of science fiction.
You mean Comicsgate crowd, or
yeah,
do you mean like
between yourself and the Brightweisters and Donald and others? There's a lot of science fiction I've noticed, but not a lot of fantasy yet. Well, you've got Rainbow Brute coming out.
I was just about to say, Rainbow Brute is. I'm sitting there going, yeah, why won't anyone? Wait a second, Rainbow Brute. Rainbow Brute is exactly that. Rainbow Brute is sword and sorcery, but it's in a funny way. Now, Rainbow Brute is my next project coming in October. I'm going to launch it October 1st. I think it's the most anticipated Indiegogo so far. Everybody wants it, and I'm like, oh, I'll do it. I'll get it up there. It is the story of. I'll even tell you how it opens. But it's the story. It's going to open kind of like Toy Story in the real world of children. Little boy comes home from school and his sister is in his room, It's like 1985 or so, and she's dressing his He-Man in a dress, and she's been playing with all of his toys and making them do girly things, sitting at table having tea, and he's pissed. He's like, "Get out of here! What the heck?" And she's like, "You're just mad because I can do anything," you know, little snotty little sister kind of thing. And so, mom comes and takes her, to a dance recital or something like that. Probably be football. It'd be funnier if it were something like a sport that was very, very boyish. And he goes, "Oh yeah," and he goes into her room, and he begins an imaginative adventure utilizing all of her girly properties, all the girl toys that he has. Then we go into this magical land over the rainbow, and it's this kid's imagination where he takes Rainbow Bright. Rainbow Bright becomes Rainbow Brute. My Little Pony becomes My Girthy Stallion. The Cabbage Patch Kids are there, but they're like these vegetable clone zombies. Munchie Cheese are these hideous apes that fall down from the trees and they demand to suck your thumb. They're like, I want to suck you. And you're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And they take your thumb and put it, in their mouth. And they start sucking it, and you just have to stand there awkwardly while they suck your thumb. Hideous. Horrible. Horrible. The Strawberry Shortcake Girls are in it. And then there's Rainbow Brute, and he had a one-night stand with a Polly Pocket, and he's got a son named Shiro Pocket, who's a total sissy, because he was raised only around these women. He was raised around the Polly Pocket girls in their pretty pink house that folds in half, and he doesn't know what it is to be a man. So Rainbow Brute takes him on an adventure and teaches him what's important about being a man. Rainbow Brute is a total badass. He choke slams unicorns. He is, the fairy god, of the land over the rainbow. People are going to dig it, I hope. I mean, they're already anticipating it. But what it is it's just a way of saying it's a comment about current pop culture wherein women are infiltrating all these boys' hobbies, these boys' fantasies, and ruining them. And it's like they come into Star Wars, they ruin Star Wars. They come into comics, they ruin comics. And it's just like, what would happen if we went into their stuff? I think we'd make it better. Because men are awesome.
Amen to that. No, I think you just sold the entire audience on that pitch. That's for sure.
Definitely sold me. Definitely sold me.
It's gonna be fun. So October 1st, we're gonna launch Rainbow Brute as an Indiegogo. It's gonna come with a coloring book. The perks are gonna be the most fun because this is the 1980s. So the first perk is gonna be a Trapper Keeper folder, like they used to have. We're gonna try to get Puffy stickers, scratch and sniff stickers. And then the ultimate thing I want to get is a Rainbow Brute rubber eraser pencil topper for everyone who bids. You know what I mean? It's like I want it to be 1985 again. I want it to feel like all the stuff that I had around me, all the girls had around me when I was a kid. We're going to take all that stuff. We're going to make it for boys and put it out. It's going to be really, really funny and a lot of fun. I'm excited. And the coloring book is going to be great, too. Rainbow Brute coloring book.
Oh, I love the sound
awesome.
of that.
That is awesome.
I love it. And then again, once again, we're having fun again.
Yeah. Well, that's all this is. It's just fun, and I mean, I want everybody to join us. It's like I want everybody to feel like they can participate, that they can have a great idea, and then they can make $1 million off of their great idea. And it's possible. It's possible again, using this community that we're building up. It's possible to have a great idea, to just follow the guidelines of Comicsgate. What are the rules that we espouse? What's our moral code? What's our code of ethics?
Yeah.
The code of ethics is just make fun comics, and treat the fan base like customers. Listen to them, treat them with respect. Don't call them names. Ask them for money. Ask them for money. Say, I want your business. Somebody asked me today, I've got a bunch of people who are like, hey, I miss Cyberfrog Blood Honey. I miss Cyberfrog Blood Honey. Is there any way, a bunch of people are asking this. The campaign's over. It's over.
Yeah.
So I said, after some consideration, talking it over with my wife, I said, we're going to open it again for 1 week. We're going to start a new campaign just for 1 week. It's going to be the same interiors, but there'll be a brand new variant cover on the book. It'll be Salamandroid on the cover instead of Cyberfrog. You can still get the 1998 Ashcan. It's going to be a smaller, pared down, limited release, 1 week Indiegogo campaign for people who missed out on Cyberfrog Blood Honey. And so everybody's like excited about it, but one guy goes, "Why? Didn't you get funded enough? Like, why are you doing this? You need more money?" And I was like, "Yes." I mean, it's like, that's why I'm doing this. It's like there's a demand for this product, and frankly, yeah, I'm doing it to make more money. And he's like, "Huh? Oh." Like I'm supposed to lie and be like, "No, it's because of the children. I'm doing it for the children." It's like, that's not what Comicsgate is. We are all out to make money. We're all out to make a good living. We're all out to get rich if possible on our comic books. And it's interesting. It's like once you let the customers know that that is your goal, people who are looking to get rich in business have to pay attention to the customers. They have to. They have no choice. We have to do what they say. We have to provide a product that they're happy to pay for. And that is the path to being successful. And that is the path of Comicsgate.
So to answer one more question from the chat, because a lot of people have been asking this, is what would be your general advice to somebody who is looking to get into this industry now that it seems like yourself and others have really opened the floodgates?
Wow, what would be my advice? Well, it depends on how you want to get into the industry. If you want to get into Marvel and DC, get noticed. Watch your social media. Don't talk politics unless you want to talk SJW politics. And keep those limited, and just make sure that the right people see your work. Now, if you want to go our way, have a great idea. Have a great idea. Work on it. If you're a writer, find an artist to pair with. Work on a comic book. Work on your idea. And then, you can always kind of come to us. I will look over your idea. If I think it's great, I'll help you promote it. You can come on my YouTube channel, and I've got 75,000 subscribers. We'll help you, sell your work. And get you funded, get you, moving in the business. Those are the two pathways available to you. Never stop, never give up. You can do it. You can break in if you have the talent to do it. Absolutely. And nobody should be able to stop you. Nobody should be able to stop you either. And it should be easy.
Yeah, I think we're both on the same page. There shouldn't be somebody who comes along and says, like, unless you're a psychopath or something, say, "Well, you didn't vote the way I wanted you to, so I can't publish it." No, none of that.
Well, that is actually happening, though. That's one of the problems. That's Comicsgate.
That's one thing that I had kind of realized. It's like up until this point, like with you and Zach and others, is I was thinking to myself, it's like, all right, I'm pretty open as a conservative. I wrote for Truth Revolt and all this other stuff, and and especially after that video I did about when the SJWs first started their push before Comicsgate was even a thing, it's like I could never get hired as a writer at Marvel DC. So all those characters I love, out the window. But I could still possibly do something. We'll have to see what happens. But this is something I think is necessary.
Well, we don't want to let you down, Micah. You guys started this gangster shit. We are running with it. We want to make sure that this stuff happens. It happens on time. We want to make sure that everyone's happy and we can build on this success. And eventually, maybe make a company, make a comic book, publishing house with everyone in it that wants to be in it. It could happen. It could happen. We just have to keep our fingers crossed, work really, really hard, and try to make good choices, which is what we are doing, I believe.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Say at the end of the day, I think that the big things that are going to have to just be there is just creativity and business acumen. Keep forward with the good ideas, and then if somebody's got $5 and they want a copy, here you go. No further discussion.
We got to be selling hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yep.
That's what we're doing.
You don't want to hear about what I have to say about politics. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to hold it against you. Here's my comic.
Yeah, I don't care what anyone's politics are. I want to sell you a comic book, and that's the way to be. It's like there's no litmus test that somebody needs to pass in order to be my customer. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be smooth to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your $25, I guess, right now. That's all I want.
Yep. There's not a voting booth outside of Little Caesars, that's for sure. Oh, goodness. All right, Ethan. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, man.
I appreciate it, man. It's great to be on the show. Happy 2-year anniversary. I can't wait to get there myself. That's going to be October of 2019, man. And that seems like a long way away. Congratulations for everything you've accomplished. Proud of you.
Thanks so much, Ethan. And hey, more is to come. So you enjoy the rest of your night, man.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You too. He is an awesome human being.
He really is. He really is.
So let's Crusader Saracen sent me a message. Wants to know if I'll talk to Ethan about my own stuff. I will at some point, but it'll probably be a private conversation. Today I really wanted to talk about him, you know. Okay, so Talon had a question from earlier that I forgot to get. With the death of McCain, how soon do we think it'll take for the media to blame Trump for it? It wouldn't surprise me if they paint him as a terrible human being because of some of the past comments he's made. So I'm not looking forward to that. What I am looking forward to is what is next. So
what is next?
We're going to go for one more hour. Usually we only podcast for 2. We're going to go for another hour.
All right.
And we are going to bring in patrons. So, if you are a patron of this channel and you have access to the Discord server, my advice right now would be to look into the Discord server. A link is about to go up. That will let you in to the hangout here. So, sadly, it looks like Aiden won't be joining us today. She was the one I'd also invited to come on. I hope Aiden's doing all right. Hopefully she's just busy or spending time with her boyfriend or something like that. But I will say this before other people come in, is just so somebody let Aiden know that I said this, is that Aiden has been probably one of my favorite people to come onto this channel. And she is an awesome human being, and I'm super excited about all the success that she's having too. You know, I told her in a private conversation last time we had her on that it's like I knew within a year she's going to have 100,000 subscribers. She's going to be the next big YouTube star because she has something that a lot of other people don't, and that's something to offer that's of actual value to discussion in this day and age. So hopefully we'll get to talk together. I know she's working on a big video project about West Virginia right now. So hopefully we'll get, when that's further along the lines, we'll have the chance to talk to her about that. So,
yeah.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
Indeed.
Looks like Talon's already joined us.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Be a bit distracted, so still playing video games while also here.
Oh, I see how it is.
Right.
I see. Really, are we really gonna start West Virginia-ing in the chat? Okay.
You know, oddly enough, with my new job, there's not an opportunity to go to North Carolina in the future, but I could go to the Virginias.
West Virginia is actually really pretty. I mean, you know, I took the whole turnpike to get to you last year, and it was really nice, really visually appealing. Much better than damn Ohio and Indiana that I had to go through immediately afterwards. They were just flat. Just nothing to look at. But West Virginia was pretty fucking nice. Regular Virginia, though, I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't know if I would ever want to live there either.
No, I definitely wouldn't live there. As far as like visuals and stuff go, it's not that different from North Carolina, so I can just stay in this state.
So the Fallout version of it is going to be pretty much the same.
More or less, yeah. You're not missing out on a whole hell of a lot there.
Well, it is warm in here. So, tie's coming off.
Oh, Micah, I don't think any of us have had enough alcohol for that.
Just a tie, jeez. Goodness gracious.
Oh, Lordy. Panda is drunk in the chat, by the way.
Oh my God, Harrison. Really?
A wee bit. Is it early or late, actually?
It's getting late. It's about 9 o'clock where I'm at.
It's about 10 where I'm at, because hour ahead, hour into the future, and then you're even further into the future, Talon.
Distant future.
I
Unfortunately,
mean, it's already tomorrow where you're at. We're still in yesterday, or today for us. Time travel is weird. Fuck time travel.
Yeah, time travel's kind of dumb.
in Legacy of Kain. Actually, have you ever played that series?
Oh, absolutely.
Soul Reaver is the one I played.
Series probably has the best voice acting in a series I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, so good.
It's, but one of the main villains has his voice change almost every game. At least I assumed it has. He never sounds the same. Mobius.
Well, yeah, I think it was two different voice actors.
Hmm.
I think. Let me, let me have a look and see who, who, pray tell, voiced him. Mobius the Time Streamer.
Was always Richard Doyle? Really?
Was it?
How? Every game he sounded different. The very first game he's very high pitched. Second one he's a bit more measly. And he goes very deep in the last game he's in.
I'm just surprised that that's Richard Doyle.
Why, does he sound different than that?
No, I just didn't know it was him.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't really realize it either. But see, when I think of Richard Doyle, I think Big Boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Like old Big Boss.
Yeah.
So.
Very different to Mobius then.
Yeah.
In that series got killed off for Asgoff.
All right, if anyone else wants to join. Otherwise, keep sending those questions along, by the way. Give us news items to talk about. I'm almost tempted to go on about the Confederate statue that was pulled down just a half hour up the road from me the other night.
Yeah, apparently.
There's also that.
Apparently, it's going back up.
It's going back up. Legally, it has to. There was a law passed in, I think, 2015 that said any sort of monument or statue or whatever on public property cannot be moved or otherwise taken down for longer than 90 days. So legally, they have to put it back up. Although there's been talk recently about possibly abolishing that law, which... if they do, that statue, there's no way in hell that statue is going up. It is currently, from what I was told from a UNC librarian, it's sitting in a dumpster right now.
Jesus.
Yeah. So everybody in Chapel Hill wanted it gone. They wanted it. The reason why it got pulled down in the first place is because the cops were told to stand down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what happened. And UNC itself, the actual university, wasn't going to undergo an investigation. You know, they weren't going to do anything. But they were told by the president of the system of colleges, because it's all a bunch of universities under one banner. They were told, no, you have to have an investigation. Like, we're going to get the State Bureau of Investigation involved, and they did. and now there have been arrests made.
So were these sort of done by sort of government officials, or was it the campus had, or no, not the campus, the university's own group had to investigate it?
No, it's actually the state of North Carolina that's investigating it.
Right.
Before it was going to be like university police and the town of Chapel Hill police, and that's where the university is located. But now they actually got the state Bureau of Investigation doing it.
Having a university police always seems very strange to me.
It does, but it's, I mean, if you have a unit on campus, you know, they can respond to stuff quicker. So, I mean, it sort of makes sense. As far as a full on like law enforcement thing, I don't know.
And as someone who doesn't really know that much about the American Civil War, since a bunch of Yankees killing each other, what exactly is the statue of, and what is so important about it?
So the statue is of a Confederate soldier by the name of Silent Sam. At least that was his nickname.
Right.
It was dedicated to all the students at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, that school where it's at, who left their schooling to join the Confederate Army for the war.
Right.
And it was dedicated, I believe, in 1914. So this was about almost 50 years after the end of the Civil War. And a lot of statues and monuments and whatnot went up around that time. From what I understand, it was sort of a bit of reconciliation between North and South, but there's also the idea that they were trying to, I guess, reinforce Jim Crow. I don't exactly know how that works, but whatever. But the reason why it's so controversial is because at the dedication, one of the speakers in his speech talked about Anglo-Saxon supremacy and how he quote unquote whipped a Negro wench just up the road from where the statue was being placed. So that in their mind says, okay, well, it's definitely a racist symbol. It needs to come down. And for decades, people have been trying to bring it down. And of course, now it was only a matter of time since the statue in Durham, which is literally just a few minutes away from Chapel Hill, since that statue was torn down and destroyed last year, I figured it was only a matter of time before this one was going to be taken down.
I hate that we're at the point where people aren't doing it through legal means.
Well, no, they're not. Well, that's the thing, though. The law that was passed that essentially protects these things was passed not long after the shooting in South Carolina. The 9 black people that were shot at that church,
yeah,
where the whole Confederate monuments must go thing came from. I mean, the law was passed, I think, a month afterwards. So people are saying, oh, well, yeah, that's exactly why they passed it, because they're a bunch of racist fuckheads. Well, no, it was debated a bit beforehand. I think that sort of ramped things up, but no. It's honestly, I find it astounding that people talk about democracy being subverted, and we should always go by the will of the people. And yet, here they are saying that we need to subvert democracy to do what's right by tearing these things down.
What would you say to the people that claim that these are similar to the Nazi statues and iconographic words?
I say that. I mean, I get what you mean. I say that's sorry to interject there.
You're good.
Total cock shit, because the thing is, this thing that not a lot of people realize, these monuments weren't even necessarily put up to honor the Confederacy in and of themselves. Like, you see statues of name a Civil War general who has a statue. There are plenty of them, right? Most of them were put up after Reconstruction, because a lot of those generals became like key figures in the reconciliation of North and South. Like fuck, I forget his name. How can I forget his name? He was General Lee. That's it.
Robert E. Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert E. Lee. He there was a really famous picture taken right after the Civil War where he went to a black church, right, and kneeled in prayer next to a black man, and that was printed on newspapers all over America, and it was almost like an emotional catharsis in America that if it wasn't for him, along with a lot of other Confederate people, reconciliation probably would have taken at least decades longer and would have been a lot messier and worse than it already was.
Oh yeah,
That's
absolutely.
why a lot of these statues were made.
Yeah. I think one of the big problems is that people generally view Lee as like the enemy and not so much they just view him as Confederate soldier, so he must be the racist evil guy.
I mean, strictly speaking,
that's
he was.
basically what it boils down to. Like
It's a shallow view of history.
Well, they view any Confederate they served as a racist and a traitor to the United States. I mean, literally the only reason why they are considered traitors is because the United States didn't believe that secession was legal. The Confederate States, all the states that seceded, believed that they were within their legal rights to do so. So naturally, when they're told, "Hey, what you're doing is illegal," then they fight a war for independence. Like, yeah, the Civil War was fought over slavery, states' rights to own slaves. I need to make that point clear. But it was also considered a war for the Confederate States of America to become independent from the United States.
One of the things I also remember hearing, though this is from a Pringle University?
Prager. Yes.
Prager University.
Prager.
I could go for some Pringles. But I claim that the Democrats, after Lincoln was assassinated, immediately moved to replace all of the rules and sort of laws he wanted to free slaveries or the blacks at the time. Give more rights to them. Is that actually true, or
Slaves were freed before Lincoln was assassinated.
Hmm.
At least the Emancipation Proclamation. The 13th
Partially.
Amendment was passed afterwards.
Yeah.
Not banning slavery.
Yeah, the Emancipation Proclamation, people don't realize, only freed states or only freed slaves in states that were in rebellion. So, like, you got states like Kentucky and Maryland, which were border states between the Union and the Confederacy, where slaves weren't freed there. Some Union officers actually owned slaves.
It's a complicated issue that a lot of people don't really even understand the background of. I mean, there were states
the public school system. Oh,
well,
sorry,
it's,
go
it's
ahead.
not completely the public school system. I think it's because there's things about prior to the Civil War that get left out too, like the fact that there were several states that were moving to ban slavery as the country was being established, and that was always the one thing that I thought that whenever Tara McCarthy would spout mountains of shit out of her mouth that were just nonsense, and one of them about the country being an ethno-state at the start. It's like, if we were an ethno-state, why were we moving to ban slavery right out of the gate? Why did some of the founding fathers want it banned right there?
Thomas Jefferson regarded it as a blot, even though he did own slaves.
Actually,
he did until the day he died.
The first state to ban slavery was Vermont, of all places,
Yep.
in 1777, before it actually joined the Union as the 14th state.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, way before the Civil War was already banning slavery. And America was always moving towards that anyways.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that that the problem with the Civil War in general is that a lot of people don't really like to look at it in the shades of gray that it is, because it's historically easy to look at wars as black and white. It just is, instead of them being war, which sucks. War is hell. It's considered hell for a reason. You know, it's
a giant chaotic mess, basically.
Exactly. So this silly idea that everybody who fought for the Confederacy was, all in on slavery. No, there was only about if we were to use modern terminology, the 1% in the South were the ones who owned the slaves. And a lot of them were politicians.
Yeah.
So it's the silly joke of a discussion. I still remember the video I did in response to Colin Moriarty when he was talking about the Southern monuments and stuff like that. I'm like, come on, man. Like, let's be historically honest about this, not the opposite. I have no words.
I mean, like
I'm not even a Southerner. I shouldn't give a shit. I've got Kashmir Pulaski from where I'm from. All right, like that's about it.
No, I'm a Southerner. I will certainly talk about it. I mean, it's a bunch of anger over shit that people just do not understand. Like you said, it's not as black and white as people would want to think. Like, yes, slavery was a bad thing, but the entire economy of the South was built on slavery. It was largely agrarian. They did not have the same sort of industry as the North did. Like, the most they had was lumber and shipbuilding, but that was very isolated.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't doing nearly as good as Boston alone. It's when all of a sudden you have a group of people that say, hey, we think you should free your slaves. It's like, okay, so you're going to just commit us to economic purgatory then. Okay, I see how it is. Fuck you.
Yeah, it kind of, to the Southerners, it felt like these Tony rich people are coming down from their, this industrial paradise down to the little old Dixie to tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, and it was really stoking some of the sectionalist tensions that were around, even at the signing of the Constitution. Like, you think of the 3/5 compromise, like, that only came about because the South was pissed that the North would have essentially been able to run the entire country without any sort of input from the South. They wouldn't have gotten the same sort of representation as all the northern states would. So yes, sectionalist tensions had been going on for quite some time up to when the Civil War actually happened. And Talon, to answer your question from earlier, yeah, some politicians did really stick it to the South after Lincoln was assassinated. Andrew Johnson specifically did away with a lot of Lincoln's plans for Reconstruction. I mean, he really, really fucked things up for the South.
What happened to most of the South after the war?
Basically, it was a hellhole for a while. I mean, yeah, an economic hellhole. So you had a lot of Reconstruction being done by the North, essentially. And that's where you have the entire concept of carpetbaggers, because there were some Northerners who had money behind them, came to the South, invested, bought land because it was cheap as fuck when it wasn't, on fire, thanks Sherman, and essentially made a fucking killing there. And the Southerners felt like, oh, we're being fucking exploited here. And yeah, they kind of were. I mean, thank God the government didn't actually try anyone for treason. That was on the table at one point, but they decided not to do it. Jefferson Davis, I think, was in prison for 2 years before they finally let him out. But nobody ended up eating a treason charge. Everyone who had seceded or taken up arms or whatever was allowed back into the United States as a citizen as long as they took an oath, and that was basically it. But no, like, people lost fucking everything. I mean, I have an ancestor who did fight for the Confederacy. He was a poor farmer, and he got killed. He got killed a year after enlisting, almost a year to the day after enlisting. And his wife actually had to fight for years just to get his $125 pension. And that was out of desperation. I mean, she had to actually go out and hire a lawyer and everything. And that's, for back then, that's something that you really, really couldn't afford to fucking do.
Yeah.
Actually, fun fact, there's still one last pension from the Civil War being paid today.
Really?
Yep.
Damn hell.
Yep.
Is it?
Paid out to a Civil War veteran's widow. Well, okay. It was kind of like, he was like 80 or 90 something, right? and then she was taking care of him as a young woman.
Mm.
But he didn't have anything to leave to her to pay her, so they just kind of got married quickly in the courthouse, so that he lists her on his VA beneficiary as the receiver of his pension. And now she's like 70 or 80 something, I think. That was just a nice. It was like what is it? Like every month, like $50 a month or something like that. It says VA pension payout.
Goodness.
Interesting little thing.
Oh yeah.
Just an interesting little fact. It really puts into perspective, like the timeline of history. You know, I remember there were still Civil War veterans around the time that troops were landing at D-Day. I see pictures of like old Civil War veterans shaking hands from both sides at Gettysburg in like 1942, and pictures like that. It's really interesting stuff. You should look it up when you get the chance. Actually, if you're following on Twitter, there is a account called History Lovers Club where they post really rare historical photos. A lot of those came from there. That's a really good account to follow for anyone in the chat listening. Really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Did Zachary White get into the Discord server?
I have sent out links. We just got 2 new patrons, so I went ahead and sent out links to the server to them.
Okay, cool. So
I think
check,
I was one
check
of
your
those
stuff,
patrons.
people. Cool. Well, welcome.
I kept meaning to go to Patreon, but I was just really lazy.
That's all right.
Yeah. I know. I was actually talking like the thing I use in the chat is King KRX because I remembered having a really shitty day one day and I got myself banned from the chat. I think I made like a Hitler joke, and I'm not blaming him for banning me. I was really not saying stuff I should have that day, so sorry about that.
Apparently, there's a General Sherman statue in New York City that they wanted to tear down. Funny fact, actually, post-war, General Sherman was really, really popular among a lot of Southern Democrats for some reason.
That does not make any damn sense.
Yeah,
to me.
see,
Well, because he was, he had a lot of racist tendencies, and he actually was all right with the South reintegrating in a lot of ways. He was better than Andrew Johnson, certainly. He was actually, a lot of people wanted him to run for president, and he could have had a good shot at it, but he didn't want to run against Ulysses S. Grant, who was his best friend.
yeah.
Yeah, what a joke his administration turned out to be.
Oh, jeez, don't even remind me.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I think he's the only president ever to become a president of the NRA as well.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
I know
Really?
the first president of the NRA was actually another Civil War general. Was that Ambrose Burnside, I think?
Might have been. I don't remember. But yeah, Grant is the
Yeah.
only one who's ever been part of the NRA who became its president after being president of the United States.
Is Trump a member of the NRA?
No, but he's the first president ever endorsed by them.
Really? He was the first?
He was the first.
That's
Wow.
neat.
Yeah, I was shocked as hell by that. I'm like, wait, what? I say we because I'm a member. We didn't endorse like W. I'm like, what? Really? So that shocked the shit out of me. But might want to do it more often, in my opinion.
By the way, here's an interesting. It's only slightly related. Now let's see. Speaking of presidents who were the first and only thing. Okay, actually, did you know that there's actually one president who has personally led troops into battle?
Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Like during their presidency.
Oh, Roosevelt, I think.
No, James Madison.
Oh, right. Shit, I forgot about
War of
that.
1812, yeah.
Yeah, during the War of 1812, when the British were coming to D.C., he personally led troops in the cavalry charge to attack the British. That's so fucking cool.
Badass.
There's been some really good. There's been some badass presidents.
Yeah, then there's Andrew
yeah.
Jackson. Jackson as well. Kind of a terrible president.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, probably one of the
Oh,
worst. But hard motherfucker. I mean,
Yeah,
Was there any real? Hey, Mike, was there any real thing that Jackson did in his presidency that really ended up all that good? Because I'm trying to think of one. The only thing I've heard that some people like was something about the bank, but I don't know the whole story.
he created
on
the
that.
First National
Oh,
Bank,
nice.
yeah, and nobody liked that either because it ended up falling apart. So
There was that one time he beat the shit out of his political opponent with his cane.
yes, Yes, there's that. Everything. Well, yeah, and before he got elected on his military achievements in the War of 1812, because like he's the guy who broke the British.
And he took New Orleans.
Yes. Well, it was
I
at New
actually
Orleans.
visited that battle site. The Battle of Chalmette. I actually visited that battle site. That was really cool.
Yeah, he was a hard man, and on top of that, he had he was known for dueling. He had a duel with somebody, and technically speaking, he lost the duel, but survived the gunshot. Was still standing, and he said, "I have not had the chance to draw my pistol, sir." And then the guy who was preceding the duel said, according to the rules, he's supposed to allow to. He had to basically stand there and let Jackson shoot him in the face. Because back then, like, who survived a gunshot? Nobody. And yet, here's
this. Certainly didn't survive the infection after.
Yeah, exactly. But this hard bastard, he's like, fuck you. Seriously? Oh my god. Yeah.
So you want to know about Andrew Jackson? Let me read the words of one of the guys who wrote the first biography on him.
Oh, this should be good.
Oh, boy.
Andrew Jackson, I am given to understand, was a patriot and a traitor. He was one of the greatest generals and wholly ignorant of the art of war. A brilliant writer, elegant, eloquent, without being able to compose a correct sentence or spell words of 4 syllables. The first statesman, he never devised, he never framed a measure. He was the most candid of men and was capable of the most profound dissimulation. A most law-defying, law-obeying citizen. A stickler for discipline, he never hesitated to disobey his superior. A democratic autocrat, an urban savage, an atrocious saint.
Yeah, that's about right.
That guy's an asshole, but he's the coolest guy I've ever met in my life. What the fuck?
Yeah. I wonder if the reason why he's held in such high regard is because he helped create the Democratic Party.
Might be the case. Oh, Matchstick wants to know if you declare me an honorary Southerner, so I have to care about it more. I think I've already been declared one, I thought.
Well, you have to partake of the customary sweet tea and biscuits beforehand.
Yes, so we'll have to do that at some point.
Yeah.
I've tried tea once. It left one of the worst aftertastes in my mouth.
That's because you're probably drinking it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm one of those freaks that drinks water. And the worst part is, I know I'm going to live to see the day where, like, once I drink water, some kid's going to be like, you can drink that stuff that comes out of the faucet?
No, it's the stuff like it's in the toilet.
Oh, dear God.
Idiocracy, man.
Yeah.
But no, you have to partake of the holy Southern communion of sweet tea and biscuits.
I can go for some of that right now. Oh my god.
There's just one problem. Carbs.
Hey,
you know what?
I can do whatever I want. You're not my mom.
It's communion, Mike.
Do.
You don't have to eat the whole biscuit. Just eat a little bit.
Quick response to the Danny Man in chat. A little comment made that War of 1812 wasn't really, despite popular opinion, America getting its ass kicked. It was actually, most historians agree, it was something of a tactical draw, kind of. We weren't able to take Canada, but we did take the Great Lakes, and we also took New Orleans. So overall, it was kind of, even.
Well, I think the Canadians would disagree with you.
Yeah, they burned D.C., but, you know, we took New Orleans, and that was the most important part.
They would have done more damage to D.C., but a literal tornado stopped them from doing it.
Yeah, we kind of had to. We had to mount a comeback at that one, to say the least. Then again, that's
Deus fucking Volt.
That's the way, like, the first 3 major wars for America went is, well, we managed to come back in the Revolutionary War. We managed to come back in the War of 1812, and then the North had to mount a comeback in the Civil War.
Yeah, actually, in the Revolutionary War, I remember George Washington was trapped on, I think it was Manhattan Island, some island in New York, right? With his army being surrounded by the British. He had to find a way to evacuate his army in the night. Otherwise, the British would surround him and basically end the Revolutionary War right at the beginning. But then a fog came in, like a super thick fog, just came in out of nowhere and stopped the British from landing for like a week, and George Washington was able to evacuate his entire army off the island and just stick a big middle finger to the British as he was walking away with his army. Fuck you! Because
God wills it.
loves America.
God wills it. Dave's fault.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Britannia.
And then after that, we just, aside from Vietnam, we just came in and just stomped things, apparently. Like,
Well, Korea was also a draw.
oh yeah, there was that.
Well, yeah, quite literally, yeah.
But and then we ended up drawing a line halfway down the peninsula. But the World War I, we shall dig no trenches, and we sure as fuck did not.
Well, we also came into World War I pretty late too.
Yeah,
so.
we basically came.
I
in
actually
and
went to a
steamrolled
World
everything.
War I museum a few months ago. It was neat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If I ever go to France,
Like they would like simulate what the trenches would look like, and they had like tons of these tanks, rifles. My grandpa would have loved that. Like he's really into like World War I and II.
If I ever go to France,
But I know that if we took him there, he would have been in there for like at least 2 days straight, and we couldn't have gotten him out.
if I ever go to France, I'd love to see like the French countryside, and I want to see the trenches or what's left of them. I kind of want to dig and see what I can find. See if there's any old guns or helmets.
I don't think you're allowed to.
And some
Yeah.
places are open to the public.
Yes,
I
but
don't know if you
think
can dig or take home any historical artifacts with you.
I mean,
Not unless you want the French to start coming after you.
only
Yeah, with their white flags. Yeah, they're going to come after you waving white flags. Look out, he's got a gun!
it's only not allowed if you're caught.
Don't go past the Maginot Line.
Get back here! Get back here! Oh dear God, he's got the fists!
Oh shit, he's German! Run! Run!
Save the baguettes!
I mean,
We're zoomed!
no,
We're
Korea
zoomed! I surrender!
because North Korea isn't free, so it was a draw.
Well, technically,
Yeah.
you're still at war.
No, not
We're
anymore.
still at war.
Technically, that's going to end very soon, though.
Say,
I
well, no, South
don't-
Korea and North Korea are technically still at war. I don't think we are anymore, oddly enough.
No, we're not.
Actually,
No.
we signed an armistice many years ago, but South Korea is still technically at war with North Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's
it's
not
just
gonna
it's
last
on
much
pause.
longer.
It's on pause, and somebody left the console plugged in
Pretty much.
Yeah.
after all these fucking years,
But the
Yeah.
and the thing hasn't burnt out yet.
but anyway,
Technically, it's just a ceasefire.
yeah. And then World War II, we probably would have stayed out of if the Japanese hadn't gotten a little too big for the britches.
Alright.
I'm not sure about that. We were kind of already in the war, more or less, with Lend-Lease and all that. Like, the reason why Hitler declared war on us is because we basically... What was it that we... Oh, yeah, Roosevelt basically said American naval ships will protect merchant shipping and actively fire upon, Nazi U-boats
Yeah.
that come within range. So we were basically already in the war for all intents and purposes.
Well, it was
That's
probably
not
going to
really.
be an eventuality, I suppose. But
Yeah. The Japanese more or less just accelerated that plan.
yeah, they weren't very bright.
Well, it was a strategic gamble. They basically they were like, okay, if we're gonna win this war, we have to win it decisively within 6 months, because after 6 months, America will bring its might to bear, and we will be fucked.
Yeah, they basically took a bigger bite than they could have realistically chewed.
I mean,
Speaking of the world wars, have any of you had a chance to actually play Battlefield 1?
nope.
No.
No.
I played a little bit of it. It was pretty fun, Or
No
lot of
desire to.
shit in it, but it's whatever.
If
It's not historically accurate, but I don't care.
If it was all about Lawrence of Arabia, I would have bought it, but it wasn't, so I didn't care.
The Arabian campaign is actually a big part of it.
But it wasn't the whole
Yes,
game.
but-
Like that's literally
Oh.
all I care. I love Lawrence of Arabia, so I'm like, really, really, and then it's like I hear it's only like part of it. I'm like, oh fuck you, Dice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe
play
you
as
even-
play as T.E. Lawrence up to the point where he gets run over.
Oh my god. But yeah, the war sucks.
Video
and
game wars are cool.
they are. something
yeah.
a little bit lighter. I just got an email from Bremshay, who is in the chat right now. He says, "It's unbelievable. I still can't believe I can't be a patron using ammunition as payment."
Nah.
You gotta be all your dues, my friend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't go by the barter system anymore.
Well, not to mention you can't ship that to us and not get into federal trouble.
Well, no, it depends on where you live.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. For me, for example, you can ship it to me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
you
actually
ship-
really cool. California,
ship
yeah, that's pretty much a foregone conclusion. that
no.
that's happen.
No.
Yeah, and I'm in Illinois, so...
Yeah, no, you can ship ammunition to North Carolina. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Do we
wow.
accept bottle caps?
We're-
Not yet.
We're not in Fallout yet, no. Though the interesting day when I can pay for a hooker with bottle caps is going to be quite the experience.
It'd be quite a wait, though, a few hundred years.
Yeah. I'll lock myself in cryostasis.
The
The
only precious
only
metals.
precious metals are. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The only precious metals are brass, copper, and lead. I was reading the same thing you were.
You're goddamn right, and that's why people tell you to hoard gold for the apocalypse are full of shit. The nukes fall, no one's gonna care about gold. You have to learn how to mill and shell your own ammo.
Yeah.
And you can learn to do that pretty easy. Learn how to make your mix your own gunpowder. Learn how to mill your own ammo from raw lead, and learn how to pack it into empty shells. You can do that at home pretty easy if you just learn how. That's
Or you
that's
could use
definitely
it
something that's
around
worth
like a
investing in,
gentleman.
if you can.
Hatman lives in a free state. Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Trust me, I wish I didn't live in Illinois. The instant my job gives me the chance to move somewhere else, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Like
I'm trying to move to Pennsylvania eventually.
don't
In the long run.
don't go to Philly. Don't go to
Oh, no,
Philly.
no. Well,
Don't go to West Philly. I hear you might get a shipment out to Bel Air after you get into some fights over there.
So you'd be back
Oh,
in
yeah.
California.
My mama got scared and she's living with her auntie and uncle in Bel Air. I was actually thinking about moving to Pittsburgh where my friend is. We, as a long-term plan, speaking of this Comicsgate stuff and all this independent stuff, me and my friend, eventually what we want to do, he's working at a big bank over there, right? And he's actually has his own indie studio on the side that he's working on, and they're trying to make a game. What we want to do is start a hybrid animation and game studio.
Interesting.
So, like, making our own games and making our own anime, basically.
Nice.
That's a
Well,
very...
it'd be better than the Crunchyroll one.
Oh, God. Oh, my
definitely.
God.
Oh, have we already talked about Crunchyroll, or are we allowed to talk
no,
about
we
that?
have not. No,
Go-
let's
go
talk
for it.
about that.
Do this. Yes,
Holy
no. Oh my-
Wait, what are we talking about?
Are you familiar?
Okay. Crunchyroll.
What we want to do is start a hybrid animation and game studio. So, like, making our own
Hey, Torino, we're bleeding through your speakers, man.
games.
I think we are.
Better than the Crunchyroll one. Oh my God. Have we already talked about Crunchyroll, or are we allowed to talk about that?
Read the video, please.
Torino, you might want to mute your.
Yeah, it sounds really ratchy.
It sounds like Fallout Radio.
No, I think Three Dog always came in better than that.
Yeah.
maybe a bit, but no. The Crunchyroll thing is basically they took your money that you were paying to watch anime, and made a CalArts style inspired show that is so proud to be developed by an all women team.
So much so they forgot to actually tell us what the damn story was. Or anything about the
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
No, my favorite part was that they said, this is a story that I don't think anyone's told before about 4 magical girls going to high school. I'm just like,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just like, excuse me? Like, literally the most common, one of the most, like, archetypal anime concepts out there, and yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, okay, yeah, that's, this is good omen for how the show's gonna be.
Yeah. It makes me. It reminds me of that. What was it called? Gen Z. I know Mr. Mediker did like a video on it.
Fucking god!
It's like it's like a new. It's like Crunchyroll decided to bring that idea back.
The idea that Crunchyroll is actually helping the industry. At first, I was like, yeah, okay, sure. But now I'm just like, okay, I can call total bullshit on that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really watch anime, so yeah.
I mean, I'm a big anime fan, and I'll admit. Well, okay, no, I don't really pirate. I just watch Blu-rays whenever I can, every now and then. But here's the thing that a lot of people miss in this particular case. As bullshit as Crunchyroll is, a lot of times the anime industry is also shooting itself in the fucking foot, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Because, like, look, what's the best way to support the anime industry, they say, right? Buy Blu-rays, right? Because studios sell Blu-rays to their shows, and that goes directly back to them. The problem being, for example... One of my favorite shows is Recreators. It's 24 episodes. To buy the entire Blu-ray set, it's about $70 for every 2 episodes. Almost $900 for one fucking show.
Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah, you can... I'd rather shove a grenade on my ass and pull the pin than pay that. How about that?
Yeah, I was actually working...
Yeah,
I think I brought this up to Hatman, but I was actually working on writing a couple of stories that are kind of like pulp fiction-y type of stuff. And the idea I wanted to do is like I want to edit a bunch and then just like compile them together. And like if I want to sell like any of my writing, I would just put it all in a compilation.
Hey, guys, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I tried using my Bluetooth headphones, but you all sound like robots.
Well,
I normally sound like a robot,
I
so...
can neither confirm nor deny my status as a robot, so...
Mark Zuckerberg, is that you?
Oh, Jesus.
The robots are taking over!
So, out of curiosity, have any of you ever played Super Robot Wars by any chance?
Well, I'm apparently about to.
I haven't, and I'm wondering why the hell I haven't.
Yeah, well, oh, by the
I
way,
have no idea what that is.
Yes, thank you, by the way.
I'm looking
how you
forward
gonna
to
send
it.
me that sandwich? By mail? By
Do what now?
How you gonna send that Chick-fil-A sandwich? You gonna send it by mail? Put it on ice?
I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I could try and send it through some kind of future warp technology, but I don't know. That might nuke the thing on the way over. I do. Well, I only have one left now. I ate the other one. I can always go get more. I mean, this is kind of cold now. I can just go get you another one.
I'm just messing with you.
I mean, I'll send it. Like, even if you're I'm serious. I will send this to you if you want a rotten chicken sandwich later on, just so I can say I actually sent this. I'm a man of my word.
Display nearby where
Yeah, he could display, like get like a trophy case and display it.
Micah?
And it'd just be like, the Hat Man sent me this.
Oh my god, I can't fit this in the message, but for Super Robot Wars V, it comes with 2 free characters as DLC.
Oh.
Yeah, but you're gonna need like a Philippines or Asian account to like download them.
Okay. Well,
I got my buddies. I can always hijack.
let's see. I can figure something out. I mean, I used to, like back when I was This is how jank Blistered Thumbs was back in the day that we didn't let people know. Is I had to, because there were 2 guys who really had like press credentials, me and Yusuf. And I knew a lot, like I knew people at Sony, and I knew people, like one guy at Microsoft, and I had a lot of people over at, Namco Bandai. In which case, I was given a copy of Dark Souls, and I never played it. And I ended up selling the game, and now it's one of my favorite franchises ever. But anyway, I had to create a British PSN account to download games that were sent to us early from game producers, from their PR departments. So I just wonder if there is a McDonald's in London that got a bunch of like pre-release swag that was supposed to go to me or not. Because
actually,
there's a chance that they did.
Hello.
There's something.
You know what's funny? The only reason why I got a PS Vita is so I can play Robot Wars. And some of the Gundam games that got translated in the Philippines into English. I mean, translated into English into the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much just my import machine.
Yeah.
Actually, there's something I wanted to address in the chat that I saw. Ghost5410 asks, have we ever heard of a group called Woman in Animation? Personally, I haven't until this whole thing came out about Crunchyroll and the new show they're making.
Not animation too.
Wait, is that
Yeah, it
the
was only a
one with
matter of
the...
time.
Are you talking about that show with that feminist-looking character with the...
High Guardian Spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
There's a link in the chat here, by the way, of a picture of exactly what inspired High Guardian Spice. Micah, you might want to display this for everybody because I think it's important.
All right.
But the thing specifically
is
regarding Woman in Animation, that organization, like all the higher ups at this studio or this new studio, whatever it's called, are part of that group. And I've heard, like, okay, their official stated goal is that they want 50% of animators to be women by 2025, right? But I've heard some shady as shit things going on with that group. Like from women who've tried to join or something and kind of got screwed and they got played with fuck games in real bad ways. Especially for anyone outside of California or New York right now.
Can anybody hear me?
Yep, we hear you, Zach.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, you're finally here.
Yes.
Performing for us.
Yes.
If we know the words, we can join them too.
Okay, here's the thing.
Put your hands together.
That's actually DK64 is actually my favorite video game. Surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah, well, that one has more of
I
a
didn't
personal
really-
connection because, like, when I was young, me and my brother only really had that one game that we played a lot, and that was just something that's more about a connection between me and my brother. I remember, like, me and him are Mormon. I remember he went to serve as a missionary. We never beat it, so I decided just for a joke, like, I would 100% complete it, and then I did, but I fucked up something, and there was a glitch, so it wouldn't say it, so I had to, like, replay the whole game over again, and then I got it, and then, like, 2 days after I was like got the last thing, I wanted to save the last thing until I got back, and I did.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
That's amazing.
All right, finally pulled it up. So the Animator's Guide to Appealing to Tumblr. Oh wow.
Yeah, Micah, show that to everybody.
I am right now.
Just
Oh dear God.
okay. Yeah, it's exactly fucking right.
Yeah, the only
They took that fucking guide and made a show with it.
pretty.
Wow.
Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh, my stomach is acting up. My stomach is acting up.
Ah! Jesus Christ, why don't you just shove a barbed fish hook in my fucking eyes?
Where's this thing? I need to see this.
It's actually linked in the chat here on the what.
I saw that image rolling around. I thought it was like a joke. I didn't know it was real.
It was a joke, and then this happened.
Yeah, well, and even before that, there was a character in this relaunch of She-Ra that looks exactly like that. And I'm like, what the fuck?
It was meant to be a joke, but the universe has a really fucking cruel sense of humor.
You know, it's crap like this which is why I don't watch TV or movies, and I just started writing. Because I can just do whatever the hell I want with it.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. Just because of this, I decided to write a story that ended up involving an anthropomorphic wolf fighting a giant eel, the Kraken, and a wingless dragon.
You know, I'd read that. I'd read the fuck out of that right now.
I've got my first. I got my first draft done. I need to, polish it up a bit. I think I have like 7 stories with that character. Like one is like a fully completed draft, and like 3 have like their first drafts done, and several are like need to be finished. So
you know what? You got access to the Discord chat posted there. I'll be your beta reader.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'll do that shit because I'm actually.
I basically just wanted to make something that was like a 80s action movie mixed with like James Bond, or just something that was over the top and ridiculous.
You see, this is the exact shit why I want to make my own studio. I don't want to actually be the animator because I'm not really willing to put into work to do that. I'd rather be. I'm trying to go to law school so I can do copyright law and be the law guy for us, and we'll just hire other animators to do the stories that we write. Because there's no way I can go on my knees to these people and pitch them my shows or my ideas. I'm just like, You know what? Fuck it. I'd rather just make my own studio so we can tell our own stories.
Yeah.
Because I am tired of this shit. Fuck that.
That's actually the downside with the stuff I write. I have no idea who to like give it to. Like who would want it.
Publish it yourself on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, dude.
I might do that.
I don't know about publishing on Kindle and the like because
it's not necessarily Kindle. It's just on Amazon. That's just what they call it. Kindle Direct Publishing.
It's just a very overcrowded market right now.
That's the downside.
It is crowded, but if you're good, you'll rise above the rest, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
And Direct Publishing is already smashing traditional publishing.
Oh yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me.
Especially in fantasy and sci-fi, you're better off publishing yourself, dude. Even if you sell fewer copies, you'll make much more money.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of the tragic thing about the fall of sort of established entertainment, with them going in all of these SJW directions, at least what I've seen, because there was a sort of mentorship going on. Have you ever read Story by Robert McKee?
Can't say that I have.
No, can't say I have.
Well, I will say this about it. I learned more from that book than I did 2 years total, I guess, at college, trying to learn the basics of story. It's a very, very easy read. It changed my life. It changed how I look at writing. It's just one of the most brilliant pieces of literary criticism I have ever seen.
I might have to check that out.
I mean, it's a tragedy. In a sense, it's like watching a slow car crash, you know? But it's a self-inflicted tragedy. It's like watching someone fall onto their own sword, you know?
A self-inflicted tragedy is still a tragedy, though. Especially
but, you know, if these people hate us, and they do, they made it clear that they hate us, they hate you, you know? They think you're a shitlord for having standards. They think you're a shitlord for liking fun stories, and not giving a shit about trans, queer, pro-sexual representation or whatever. You know what? Fuck them. I'm not giving them my money. I'm going to make my own stories, I'm going to make my own company, and I'm going to drive them out of fucking business. And that's the way things should be.
I do like your attitude. That is great. I wish I wish I was a little more proactive like that.
I mean, if you got stories you want to tell, write a book, dude, and put it on Amazon. I can point you towards a good editor, you know, when you got a couple drafts in. His name is Brian Niemeyer. I'll put him in the chat, actually. He is a very successful indie publisher on his own, and if you talk to him, he can tell you all about the benefits of indie publishing versus crawling on your knees towards an agent who will take 20% of everything you earn, and then having him crawl towards a publishing house where they take 50% else of everything you earn. You know, with lower sales anyways than what you would get on Amazon. And keep in mind, with this whole retail apocalypse going on, Barnes & Noble is one of the hardest hit. And Barnes & Noble and Books A Million are two of the biggest revenue sources for traditional publishing houses. And when they're gone, that's it. The only thing you're going to have left is Costco. And they're basically going to have to fight over the scraps for what's left. But for Amazon, that's the biggest market there is right now, man. Especially for genre fiction, science fiction, and fantasy.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot on pulp fiction since that's kind of what I really enjoy reading, like stuff like Robert E. Howard's work.
Conan the Barbarian.
Solomon Kane, love it.
Yep.
You know, so that's partially what inspired me to just write stuff.
That's actually been one thing that I've been considering for the future, because my problem when it comes to writing, because like I said, I try to write an hour every night. I don't know if I'm gonna get to any tonight because I haven't even started on Comics Crusade yet.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm in a bad mood, it's just very hard for me to sit down and edit a video, and this knee is just driving me nuts. The fact that I can't even pivot on it just makes me angry. But anyway, it's not fun to go into boxing practice, and then your coaches are like, "You're actually pretty good at this," you know. They said that they've never seen a big guy cut off a ring like I can. So, but anyway, you can't, Where was I going with this? I forgot.
The struggles with trying to get yourself into writing.
Oh, right. I have different ideas that what I'll do is I'll just kind of throw it on the back burner, because there's no way that in my current plans I would be able to really do it without having something else established prior. Like, I've always wanted to do a story about what would happen if a Dracula turned one of his own soldiers into a vampire who fought with him against was it the Moors? I can't remember.
No, not the Moors. The Turks.
The Turks, yes. Turned one of them into a vampire at some point, and it's just a concept right now, but it's called The Servant, and it's like that's one of the stories I really want to do, because it would have kind of that old school pulpy feel to it. But anyway, I would love to do a book like that. I fucking love actual vampire stories. Are fucking great. But there's not many of them anymore.
It sounds like something that I would definitely read. It's almost weird for science fiction and fantasy books. A lot of times it is just the concept that sells it, you know? You have a one sentence like concept or a summary, and then you can turn that into a fantastic story, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the thing about modern fiction that I find so frustrating, like look at this current batch of Hugo Award winners, one of the most irrelevant awards today in science fiction, unfortunately, is that everyone's talking about postmodernism. You have to. Everyone's too sincere. You got to have your shitty wink and a nod. Be self-aware. Commentate on post-pan, sec, transgen, fucking whatever. You know what I mean. The thing that appeals about the pulps, which is why the pulps are starting to become more popular, which is why Amazon Kindle Direct is starting to become much more popular. All the stories on there. Is that a simple story told well is a profound thing, you know? Mm-hmm. This is the same thing you see in Comicsgate. Enough of this stupid political shit. We want good stories. We want heroes being heroes and fighting awesome fights and fighting awesome bad guys, you know?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with wanting that. That's an aspiration that literally every human being should have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why I love pulp, just because it's like crazy. I love the crazy escapism stuff. So like some of the stuff I've been writing has that craziness. Although I'm actually worried, like I'm always worried to tell someone what the premise is, just because I'm always worried. It's just like, oh, that sounds really stupid. Why are you writing that?
I mean, sometimes it's easy, but it's a lot of fun, and that's the whole point.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it being crazy either. You got to keep in mind, like the first arc.
Oh yeah, I mean
the first arc of Project Lazarus, when it comes out. The final fight is the lead character fighting fucking Gilgamesh.
Okay, that actually sounds really fucking awesome.
Yeah, as in like a supersized Gilgamesh who's strong enough to cut tanks in half. Like it's gonna be fucking crazy. But and the whole arc, first 6 issues builds up to that. And then when it finally happens, because my big thing is like you get these long arcs and they never really build to anything. You know, so you guys. Because fucking Bendis, like, if you're gonna give me 6 issues, and you gotta fight at the end of it, they better fucking destroy half of something, if it's Superman. Like, something awesome has to happen. Whereas, like, you compare Bendis to, like, Dan Jurgens on Superman, he just fucking, like, right out of the gate, Doomsday, Superman, Metropolis, go. And then it's fight for 6 issues, and you're like, yes!
I mean, the first short story I wrote with the character that I like writing the most with, like, it's a series about like an anthropomorphic wolf that like goes around fighting ridiculous over the top villains. Like the first one has him going up against like a jaguar who throws like 1,000,000 knives a second. Like he's killed, and then there's a recurring villain that's like a redneck wolf who gets his arm off, and it's replaced with a robotic one that like becomes a minigun, a rocket launcher, a flamethrower, tractor beam, just
fun.
and he's like this massive hillbilly.
Yeah.
So like Inspector Gadget gun.
Like in my second story, which I'm editing,
tell me this is more badass.
On the top, like in my second story, which I'm almost done editing, there's a fight between the two characters. On the top of a resort that's shaped like a paradise. In the middle, there's like a giant casino sign. The two like have this big fight. Like the main character's like just beaten all to hell. He has like this giant scar in the middle of his chest. He like picks up the guy. And he just like tosses him over the side of the building, and he crashes into the casino sign, just like I just wrote like the. It was like, since it's an anthropomorphic wolf, it's like the wolf fell down off the side of the building and crashed into the casino sign, causing a flare of flashing lights.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, and then the thing climaxes with a car chase. The villain crashes the car, and then like it's crazy that when I finished that first draft of the second story, it ended up at 60 pages, and I didn't even think it was gonna get that long. And I was like, holy crap!
All right, guys. Well, it has been 3 hours. And
oh wow, time really does fly.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Actually, if I could say something real quick.
Real quick, you got 30 seconds.
Sorry. So there was something in the chat that I want to see, or that I want to address. So Knox is worried about his writing. For some reason, he's never satisfied with it. I just want to say that's okay. You know, everyone's always their own harshest critic. My advice is and this goes for anyone: find a good writing group and practice. Always practice. Writing is a craft that you have to hone, right? It is a skill that you have to acquire. No one jumps on a piano and immediately just pushes out a Rachmaninoff, you know? For writing, you can't expect this. Like, why should it be different for writing, you know?
Yep.
Writing is a craft for everyone out there who wants to write, who has story ideas they want to put out. It's not the idea, it's how you tell it, you know?
Exactly.
Practice.
Exactly.
Everyone, that's my advice. Practice for everyone in the chat listening, all right?
Yeah.
Sorry. That's it.
Knox, if I can just say this, there are very few things that I've ever submitted for an assignment, because I got a degree in creative writing, so yeah, I had to submit stories for assignments, or just to any writing group in general that I was actually like really satisfied with. I think 9 times out of 10, I would say, this is kind of shitty. And then everyone would say, no, this is fine. Why the hell do you think it's shitty? You are your own worst critic. Mm-hmm. Like, get some feedback from people, and you'll start to realize you're a lot better than you think you are.
Basically.
Find a good writing group. J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were in the same writing group together, and they only made each other better.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
Exactly.
Well, I need to go ahead and call this to a close. So next week, we will be back here on this channel. Politics and entertainment, just as we usually do. Other than that, hopefully everything's cool with Aiden. Kind of bummed she couldn't be here, but she's busy, so I can understand why. So no worries there.
Yeah, we still had fun.
Oh, absolutely.
We still had fun.
I want a big thanks to Ethan Van Sciver for stopping by.
Uncle Ethan.
Yeah, I love that guy. So hopefully sometime soon we'll have Aiden back on, and hopefully we'll be able to get more guests this year as well, and make it just as good as the last two. But until then, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
We'll see you guys next week. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.
Deus Volt. Deus Volt.